Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Wherever you go, you can listen to the news. You can sleep with the blues on this wonderful, wonderful station. Just take a lively companion wherever you go. Take a portable radio. Take a portable radio.
Now, here comes the music.
Well, nothing says we're on time like being 12 minutes late right here at Q Talk America. Welcome, one and all. It's the show. It's a Tuesday night, and there's only 3 in studio.
1, 2, 3.
Un, dos, tres.
Yeah.
Marnie is on medical leave. She has a note from her doctor and apparently from her girlfriend. Talked to Aaron earlier today, and I called Marnie's phone, and Aaron answered and said that she was laced out on pain medication. So we're just gonna let her sleep. Marnie had some outpatient things, little surgery on her arm done. She's fine. She's just resting comfortably. For those of you concerned. I bet she's listening though. I mean, if she's awake, I bet she's gonna probably listen in. We might get messages from her. Who knows?
That'd be lovely.
We'll figure it all out. Sorry we're late. We're here, so get over it. It's the show. It's the 12th of September, 2017, and here we are.
This is happening.
It is. Regardless if you want to or not, we're here. We're queer. Get over it. Kat Carlson and Al Perkins here alongside me in Studio C. Central Phoenix. Jenny is in the chat room. Hi, Jenny. You're all alone in there.
Oh, yeah, now it went down. See, now there's 3. Are you on the chat room?
I am right here.
See, that's how we did the
I are
math
not.
before.
Well, no, wait a minute. I haven't touched the chat room at all. Let's touch it. Reach out and touch.
You should ask permission first.
Now I'm gonna type the. You should always ask permission. So I've done it. Oh, there's hello. There.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we're all there.
So
I wonder where everybody is. Is there an Mama?
There's
Hi, Mom.
Di.
She's there.
So, because we're so late now, people just show up when they want to. now that we go for a leisurely 7:14.
We'll get back on track.
Oh, and a housekeeping note first. Yes, Lee Remick had both good songs in that show, so I don't know what the hell Angela Lansbury did that it became a cult classic that's never been staged correctly.
She just stood there.
Ran for 9 performances,
Wow.
but the show lives on
This is they're talking about a conversation that happened prior to airtime.
just before airtime. So both of the big show-stopping numbers in that song are by the supporting character. So
What's the other number? I don't even
there
know what
won't be
musical it
trumpets.
is.
Which, when I put out my very own Show Tunes album,
When was that coming out?
oh, just stay tuned. After some night at Cobalt with a 1976 tape recorder.
Yeah,
I can help you compile that.
Yeah.
sure you
We're
can.
gonna do.
You can make a video too, like your hostage video.
Did you like my hostage video today?
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. I think.
It's a quiet thing from Flora the Red Menace. Flora the Red Menace, yeah. There won't be trumpets from Anyone Can Whistle, and then Love Is Only Love, the cut song from Hello Dolly, as a beautiful medley of songs about
very
silence,
nice.
about quiet love.
I enjoy silence.
I
Yeah.
expect you to do a medley because I want you to do a medley not only in triumph to all of the show tunes of yesteryear, but I want you to do a medley because I want you to have one just like Donna had one in her, like her My Man medley and all that stuff. I want you to have one too.
And Babs did a couple medleys. All your
I
favorites
enjoy
have
a
a medley.
medley.
Yeah.
I'm
Who
not gonna
doesn't?
lie.
Bette Midler
And a
was
mashup. Those
Yeah.
are also fun.
If I could do
That's
a
a whole
medley of
different-
mashups,
Oh my god! No, it's too much fun. Too
Now-
much fun.
Now you have a goal. You need an entire reel of just mashups.
oh my gosh.
You'll get there. I'm
get
sure.
there. I can
I'm
do
sure
it.
Demi did one somewhere with Glee or whoever.
She can do no wrong.
Yeah. And I've got
lovely.
the lady boner for her from that
Yay!
from
Oh,
that
because
Here
I was
Comes
playing
the-
you.
That
Yeah,
Here
yeah.
Comes the Sun number
From Glee.
That's a good
Glee.
one.
Right.
You take one of my favorite songs and put a couple of pretty girls singing to each other. I'm in. I bought it.
You're
Hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, I was
sold
ready.
American.
I looked over. All of a
use the
sudden, Al was
coupon.
holding my hand. I
Yeah.
said, "Not now, Al."
I was surprised to see that you had checked in again for the Cobalt fun and show tunes
This
night.
time it's reversed.
And I was like, wow, you are. Yeah, it is because they do that
show
first,
tunes,
and then
you're singing.
then you suffer. Yeah. Well, I was surprised, like, wow, Al's getting. You're gonna have an addiction soon of just you'll be there all the time.
Yeah.
Open. You'll be at the door.
I'm sorry. They give me a microphone and play the
Yeah.
two things I've been
We
listening
get
to
you-
for a year and a half.
Riled up with show tunes, and then we give you a microphone and just let go.
Oh, and vodka or wine or whatever the hell you're
And
serving.
liquor,
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Al shows up anytime.
Next thing you're gonna have a
Checks all
bagel and
the
a
boxes.
toaster over in the corner. Watch me lose my fucking mind.
They already have cable, so you're halfway home. They're already.
I actually offered on Sunday that you could just bring your couch, but it seemed like a lot of work.
Yeah, she-
They're light as a feather. I'll fucking
Because
tell
I
you
was on
that.
Weather Channel mode Sunday, so you gotta make the lures gotta be pretty strong to get me off the
get you out
couch
of
during Weather Channel porn.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Weather Channel porn, not Weather Channel specific, but of course, every channel, obviously, this past weekend, well, most all cable news channels were on the Irma extravaganza that tore the fuck out of Florida. But you don't see all of the news reporters. You don't often, aside from every tragedy that ever happens, and Anderson Cooper's out there, and the worse the tragedy, the tighter the shirt. That's the thing with him. But you don't get to always see all of the news anchors in. They're always in a suit and tie or in a nice dress. The girls or whatever, however it is. You don't always get to see them in just a regular everyday clothes. I'll be damned. Peter Alexander from MSNBC, he had some arms on him.
Oh, there's some.
I'm like, wow.
I gotta tell you, I was
Been
suddenly
hitting up the gym.
interested in following weather guys around because that Weather Channel had some real hotties to sacrifice to the storm.
Sure, they're
they
out
were
there.
shoving those fuckers out in the middle of the street. The one on MSNBC. Find me a picture of him.
Which one? Gio
No,
Well, there's
the
Gio
one that you just
Benitez.
said.
Oh, Peter Alexander?
Like, the one that you just mentioned.
Well, I don't know.
With all the
there's
arms,
some.
with all the arms.
Yeah, Peter Alexander. I wonder if I can find him with his arms. Hang on. Not that he would be without arms. I just mean showing those guns. Let me see what I can do.
Now we've made it sound like he has more than the usual amount of arms.
Yeah, no, but I was like, damn, your arms.
Polydactyl, is that what that is, or is that just extra fingers?
But also, you feel.
I don't know.
You realize more and more. Remember, I made the comment about how I didn't know until. It was a few weeks ago. I noticed that there was an excessive amount of gays in the media. Oh God, they just sent them all out in the weather. Every homo in the world is broadcasting.
I
From,
tell you, the Hawkeyes are the first ones they sacrificed to a hurricane.
they do.
'Cause I was only turning off Chris Cuomo to watch one of the hotties on MSNBC stand out there like an asshole. Oh, and are you gonna play my storm?
Oh, we'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there.
So many exciting
I
things
know.
are happening.
All of a sudden, it's
all at the same time.
Take over media day with Al.
Well, as luck would have it, I'm prepared for almost any time you need me to take over the media. But I have done a video in a storm.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
So
that's a good one.
I think it's
It's
time.
appropriate.
It is
it's
appropriate.
Time. Yeah, it's storm appropriate.
That I am willing to be one of the hotties that is let loose and sacrificed for the storm.
Why did you
know-
get that video? Because I don't think you're in
You
that.
just have to assume what's underneath of the big green coat.
Yeah, I'm in.
It might have been Thomas Roberts, not Peter Alexander. Hang on, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Edge of my seat. Edge of my seat.
Oh, you don't give a shit.
There was a guy
It's
there.
not Demi Lovato. You don't fucking care.
There was a guy there,
Listen.
and I swear to God, they were all wearing some kind of like paraffin wax that made it just glisten and roll off their bodies. And maybe I was horny, but they were all looking good, Mr. Cotter. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't watch any of
And
it.
Chris Cuomo, I mean, the only reason I was actually able to stand up without a napkin in front of me was because eventually he took everything off and he was wearing bib overall waders and looked like he had tits, so I was done. Because if anything kills a lady boner, it's bib overals.
Hey, that's twice you've used
true.
that phrase.
What's that?
Lady boner. You've used that twice now. Do we have? I think per show.
Because it's funny.
We're only limited. We have only an allotment of lady boner
Yeah.
usage.
Oh my God, that makes 4.
Yeah.
I'm referring to it. I'm not
Our
actually saying
producers
it.
are freaking out.
It's like when you say something, you're quoting someone else. You're not really saying it. You're
Right.
just quoting them. So if you say a bad word, it's like, oh no, they said it. I'm just
Yeah.
quoting what they said.
Yeah, my kids do that.
Yeah, well,
And I say,
What do you
give
think
a fuck what you're quoting. Don't say
Yeah.
it.
where do you think I got it from? Not your kids, but I mean, I grew up at one point. I was younger, and I figured out how to start cussing. Oh my god.
Sure.
Well, let's see if I can.
Right, well, he does that. Kat, what'd you do
I
this
was like,
week?
how's that going?
Well, there's a lot of pictures of him shirtless.
All right, that's fair. Well, I made a hostage video today.
Okay, I need to show part of that because I'm going to show his video. I need to show your hostage part of your hostage video.
So I have been a little bit remiss in my AIDS Walk fundraising so far, and I brought up my Facebook like on this day, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And on this day last year, I had already raised like $500. So I went, well, shit. We should do something.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
We should probably do something. So rather than just a standard posting with a link, I thought, well, let's make a video and see if that goes anywhere. And so then my house is so very echoey that the closet was the place. So then I was like, well,
All that was missing from this video is the daily newspaper and a knife. Like someone's going to take her out. That's all that was
Tomorrow's
missing.
Wednesday.
yes.
I get a paper.
Oh, you get the Wednesday, Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm still Sunday only. Yeah, so I
I got a deal. The Wednesday was free.
nice.
Same low price.
Oh, damn it. Feeling gypped. So yeah, so I like draped a sheet up in my walk-in closet, and
Exactly what you did.
that's exactly what I did. No, it was like a literal bed sheet that I literally took off of my bed because I had to change the sheets anyway.
Good times, any?
It felt
It's very Confederacy of Dunces. Anyone who's read that will know what I mean. When he brings his own bed sheet to work to make a protest sign, and everybody's like, I don't want to touch that.
Yeah, this was definitely a dirty sheet.
Now, I also have a critique about your little video too,
Please
but
do.
we'll talk about it here in a second.
Somebody's got notes.
Well,
Crap.
Well, no, because I
Whose
watched
name
it.
did I spell wrong?
No, it's just the fact that the video ends and like there is a tail on it forever.
Oh, is there? Oh, no.
Minute like this is
Oh, God.
this is almost a 3-minute video if
Our
you look at the
YouTube video
timestamp.
has 45 minutes. Of
Oh, because it's only supposed
Right,
to be
but
a minute
I
long.
but I edit it. No. Oh God, no. Well, here.
Good Lord, what's at the very end then?
Well, I'll
is
show
there
you.
something at the end?
Well, there's. Hang on. Don't do anything with it. Let's show this video. This is Kat's hostage video for her raising money. So
And Pencil's up to send money.
we'll
in.
just watch this. Here we go. Here, Kat.
Or listen. We could be listening too. Hey friend, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I want to take just 1 minute out of your time today and ask you to visit my website, katcarlson.com. That domain's actually going to link you directly to my donation page for AIDS Walk Arizona 2017. This is my 3rd year walking with Barbara Seville's Wonderful 100 and my 5th year walking AIDS Walk overall. Each year I set a goal, and each year my friends have helped me overwhelm that goal. This year the goal is $1,000, which is if everybody that watches this video just takes a minute out of their day, decides on a small amount to donate. It could be any amount. It could be $5, it could be $10, it could be $100, it could be $1,000. Whatever you choose, no amount is too small or too big to donate.
So at this point, the video ends, right?
End of video.
Okay, but then you've got a minute.
All right, friends, have a great day.
Boom. Right.
Wink.
Okay.
Right,
So
see,
there.
had to
So,
wink.
so there's that. Now it rolls on. Like there's 2 minutes and 43 seconds left of black.
Yeah.
It just rolls, and then at the end there's
captions that
right.
were just hanging out.
Yeah.
I just went to.
Yeah. So she'll get there fixed, and I'm hoping with that playback we get dollars sent to your funding.
Well, we can hope that
Sure.
someone will contribute to the hostage situation. I have 101 views and 1 share as
that
of right now. So.
cracked me up when I saw that today. I'm like,
If
seriously.
each of those fuckers gave $1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the good news. One, it halfway worked, because y'all looked at it and wanted to talk about it. So
Right.
Woo woo!
hostage video success number 1.
All right. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, so I've never actually done any intentional video like that before. You know what I mean? Like just kind of.
I noticed there were some edits in there, and you
There were.
tightened it up.
I smushed it together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have the power. I know how to edit that down and all of that. So I did. I just zipped it in and.
Now, was that all off the top of your head, or did you actually have a script?
It was all off the top of my head.
Good.
Yeah, and the original recording was about 5 minutes, and then I, but there were a couple of restarts. There was some cussing in there, so I would get like a complete thought and then lose my train of thought.
Your productions
are
are a lot like his when he's drunk
Right.
and he leaves here on a Tuesday night and then sends me audio recordings. Try this. Do you like this? Try this one.
So yes, the editing good.
It's better when we're in the same room. I agree.
I was totally wondering because I brought the video up a little while ago, and I'm like, I thought I had that at like a nice easy 1 minute. I wanted to keep it 1 minute
You were
because
there.
anything longer than that, I was.
Aside
just
from the tail.
Aside from the tail. Yeah, so we'll see. So we're embarking on the raising the money.
Oh.
Let the begging begin. Mm-hmm. And I have kind friends that have supported me year after year that I hope will come back and will donate some more and just continue on the journey. Like we do. You know how it is.
I don't focus a lot on the raising of the money, and I had a conversation with Barbara about this years ago. Is because I don't build the websites or do anything from that, but I bought the domains for her, so I have the barbaraseville.com, wonderful100.org or net or whatever. I bought all of the different things so that we can direct traffic to her to get it to raise money. So she's like, "You pay for all that, you're good. We'll call it even." I'm like, "Oh, that's fine."
Oh, sure.
So I register because I want to be an official walker, and so does my mom. So we do it, but I actually don't worry about the fundraising portion like everybody else, which I'm contributing in my own way. So
Oh, absolutely. And money's not the only way that you can contribute to any given cause.
Right.
I typically have more time than money to give to everything.
Oh yeah.
So I have a tendency to give time. With AIDS Walk so far, knock on wood, we've been fairly successful and fairly supported by a lot of friends.
Oh yeah.
And have put together a fair amount of money under my name. So
Over the years, you've raised a ton of money.
Yeah, it turns out I'm shameless.
No, yeah, you like.
Turns out Ruthie raised a fundraiser. That whole thing of
need
sending me out with a UNICEF box. Oh, 'cause she would at work and at church say yes to anything.
Oh,
If there was ever money that needed to be raised,
I think-
yeah,
I think
got
I-
this, got this.
Good.
And then the little general would come home and get me walking around the street with UNICEF boxes. I don't even know half the shit I was asking money for. But she knew that I like to go in people's houses and sit in their kitchen and talk with old women. Like, I adore it's delightful.
I think this is a two-part thing for her. One, she knew that. Number two, the less you're in the house, the less she has to hear you play that music from
Oh yeah,
downstairs.
play that goddamn Donna Summer record again.
That was really a win-win enterprise
Oh,
for
for her,
Oh
yeah.
my god, he's in the house!
Yeah.
And he's collecting money. for
Ruthie
some
raises
good cause.
more money than anybody. How does she do it? Have
And,
you
I
seen
mean-
Al?
And it really would just be me door to door. And I mean, these women, they were fun. The women in the neighborhood were really great. They would just open up, and I would either sit on the step, because all of the houses have the same little step
Right.
up to the kitchen, sit on the step and talk with them, or sit down and like look at a cup of coffee, because I was never gonna drink that fucking shit. That was nasty.
At the time, right now, look at
Yeah,
now
exactly.
you've
I
grown
didn't
up.
have coffee till I was 19, but all the things that I didn't drink while my parents were doing it right at home still shocks me. Like all their coffee makers and specialty coffees, and I never had a cup of coffee till I was 19.
Wow.
Because I thought the smell was just rough. I was like, why would you put that in
Well,
your mouth?
No, I'll agree with
it's
that because I remember
wonderful.
being
I'm
younger.
sure someone said that to me too.
Wow, wasn't going there. But I remember the same thing. Like I remember this. My grandparents would make the coffee, and I always thought it smelled good, the brewing of it. But I had never had any interest in drinking coffee when I was younger at all. I guess it's just more of an acquired taste for some.
Yeah, and for me, it was just a hellish time when it meant people were awake when they shouldn't be.
Still the same
sounds
today.
I just went to bed 2 hours ago. What are you fuckers doing up?
Well, the rest of us are on a different time
Yeah.
schedule than you.
So back to me. Other than my hostage video.
Oh, by the way, is your house still vacant?
No. Everybody's home.
Oh, I know you were enjoying the time, the staycation at home for you.
It just wasn't long enough.
Is it? It never is.
It never is.
On a lot of things.
Yeah. No. It was the staycation was fine, but now everybody's back in full force. As of today, because the kids were still at their dad's for the weekend. So as of today, everyone was back, and it took about 10 minutes for me to be over it.
Wow.
I know that was a long time.
I was going to say, you're going up.
I felt very tolerant. No,
6 minutes, I was flinching, and at 10, I was
No,
done.
it really is like two different houses when everybody's home.
Sure. Oh, my God, let it out.
Oh,
Eating cashews and dying
death
over
by
there.
cashew.
Happens. It does.
How's that for your listeners?
Listener.
Amina, how you like that coffee,
Yeah,
man,
right.
huh?
All the way from America. And cough for you. How you like that?
Anyway, the hostage video wasn't even the highlight of my week. The highlight of my week was my Sunday, wherein I got to go see a musical.
Oh, you did, yes.
I did. I got to go see
saw.
Fun Home. And I was at some points underwhelmed and at some points more moved than I thought I would be. So I was just a little backwards.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
like the big Ring of Keys number shows up and it's like drably staged. It's in front of like this brick wall and the girl wasn't really selling it the way I wanted her to sell it. And so I was like, that happened. But then later on in the story, I was much more kind of connected to and moved by like the father-daughter dynamics of her later in life.
And that surprised me when I saw it.
Yeah.
That I was expecting to be more into the child finds their first gay at a restaurant.
Right.
And it turns out it was the relationship part that got me more. And I think it's hard when you listen to a show so much and someone, because then it's locked in stone.
Sure.
And like in Hamilton, saw what's his butt, Joshua Henry play it as a man that goes insane.
Right.
Like finally stops listening to his advice about talk less, smile more. Stops listening to that advice and goes kind of mad. And then to see the understudy play it and have him play it more as a used car salesman. It was very Donald
Ew.
Trump Jr. It was really
Wow.
like icky and slick and like you're like you just never bought into him as like someone you would want to be around. It was very
Chills just thinking about
and
it.
it was but it was such an odd choice to watch somebody
Yeah.
make those different impressions so that the room where it happens didn't sell with the used car salesman like it did with the person going insane.
like, right, like
it
losing it.
Yeah, and you were also wondering if a guy who looked that white could pull off doing like a minstrel show kind of song.
Sure.
Like, what would that, does that get an ick factor? But it's always weird when you see something and you know it, or you know someone who was never in the show, they're just singing the song.
Right.
That happens all the time with Something's Coming. Somebody just sings from West Side Story, Something's Coming. Something's coming. I don't know what it is.
What is it?
But in the actual show, it's how the show begins, and you know West Side Story, so you know what's coming. You're all excited.
Right, very
There's
excited.
Whistling and fights and love and marriages and quintets. Like, you're so in your seat excited because there is something coming.
Right.
But when they sing the song, it's just like, and now another song. You know what I mean? It doesn't follow. So
Sure.
it is such a different meaning in context that always makes it fun to see something, especially something, like I said, and there's always stuff that I'm like, all right, I just need to see the choreography for this. In my mind,
Right.
I've got this dance sequence set up.
Sure.
What are these fuckers gonna do?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm happy with them, and sometimes I want to give some notes.
Yeah. So like in my brain, you know, the childhood number was gonna blow me over, and it didn't, and that's fine. But overall good. Like, it wasn't that anybody did a bad job or anything. I felt differently about different parts of the musical that I knew the whole thing was coming.
And no intermission, right?
No intermission. No,
it's a
fast
tight little show. Yes.
Yeah. And it goes by fast too. Like,
Yeah.
if you get a chance to see it, you won't miss your intermission. It goes by quickly. And I met a new lovely neighbor. Apparently, the woman whose seat is right next to mine also has season tickets, and she comes just by herself. Her name was Susan, and was lovely to chat with.
Oh.
I know. So I have a nice theater neighbor.
Oh, that's always nice.
I know. I'm very excited. So then I went from there and had some dinner with Sharon, and then went to show tunes and karaoke at Cobalt. It was a lovely, lovely gay day.
Oh, it was the gayest of days. It was the gayest of times.
The most of gays.
Yeah. So showed up for your behest, if that's the word.
Sure.
And
well, I knew you were off work, and thought, well, a show tune wouldn't be
and
amiss.
certainly did need to go out and mingle with the world. I had been watching Weather Channel porn and playing the solitaire for a good too many hours, and I had been lost in mad clown territory for a little longer than I needed to be, which we'll talk about in entertainment. But so it was fun to go out. We had a great time. Terrific time was had, and then I didn't drink as much water because the host of the evening was not aware of my very special water needs.
Oh, sure.
So
We've been down this road before with you.
the night ended, and I went to the Filiberto's and had my second green chili burrito in as many days with a great lack of water.
Are we sure it's the water that's the problem here?
Oh, yeah,
No, I'm
because
kidding.
it wasn't a hangover the next day.
Yeah.
It was like serious fucking
Dehydration,
indigestion
right.
because I fell right asleep after the burrito, still having not drank any water. And I've been drinking brewed coffee, which I forget that I make jet fuel. When I do my little Verissimo nonsense,
Right.
there's one size, there's
make
one
jet
cup,
fuel.
there's none of that stuff. I've been brewing crack, so my stomach was a fucking disaster on Monday.
Oh,
So I
no.
go for a doctor's appointment just to peep in my head and tell them, I need my little write-up from my primary care human to say I need to see my neurologist.
Sure.
I turned 50, so there's a procedure that a gentleman of 50 needs to go through, so we had to
Sure.
get that in progress because I pinky swore I would do it once I was done traveling. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I'm having a little bit of stomach distress and not real confident to sit in places that aren't a toilet for longer than like 30 to 35 minutes.
Oh,
So
Wow.
the wait for the doctor was a couple extra minutes. They took me back. They were orienting a new medical assistant, whatever they're called. So like they took my blood pressure twice and they were making a note of it. And meanwhile, I'm just sweating
Oh.
green chilies.
no.
2 straight days of green chilies have come home to haunt. And we're in this waiting and they made a note of it and asked me a question. If they're like, well, your blood pressure is a little higher than it usually is. I'm like, it is. I'm like, I'm not having a great day. I'm just here for a referral. Let's just speed this up and get me home.
Yeah.
Because people need to give samples in your bathroom and I don't want to spend time in there. So I go in and this is only my second time meeting my new primary care human. And he's like talking to me and stalling and asking me all these different questions. I'm like, I need the referral from my neurologist, and we pinky swore on this other deal. Whatever he has to have, I'm like, I don't feel good today. Like, just get me out
Get
of
me
here.
home,
Your air
right.
conditioning's not cool enough. And he's like trying to all right, so he does this thing where he's gonna listen to my lungs and my heart and do a full thing. I'm like, I paid the $25. I get it. My copay's obnoxious. Just fucking get me out of this office. He's like, I honestly have to. He's like, I can't. He's like, you need to get an EKG. He's like,
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, I'm like, he's like, you're sweating. I'm like, I rode my bike. He's like, there's clearly something wrong with your stomach. I'm like, 2 green chili burritos, and they were extra super spicy.
And I've been drinking.
And then I was like, and I'm a little hungover. And he's like, just turn the tables. If I let you out of here looking like you do right now.
Right.
Oh, then he's gonna make you look bad.
Now, and then he said it. He's like, okay, you're having a bad day. I get it. He's like, you need some sunshine and some exercise and stat. He's like, you don't look good. And I'm like, I don't feel good. But it's just,
You're
I
not
just want to
helping.
go home and drink a lot of water, probably a gallon of milk, and get the fuck home. So then they make me sick because you think I'm having a heart attack.
Right.
So he puts the EKG on me. So now I take my shirt off in front of people. I'm like, well, now my blood pressure's a million.
Nobody deserves to see this.
Like, I can put them on. They're like, no, you can take your shirt off for an EKG. It was just funny. So then he looks at it, and I just walk out, and he's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, I get it. I absolutely get it.
Right.
I'm like, it's a green chili.
Just a
bottle
bad
of
day
wine.
for all of this.
And I rode my bike back and forth to the bar, so I really did need more water. Like, it really was a bad
Right.
choice. Some people can do stuff like that and not drink water. I'm just not one of those people.
Sure.
But it turned into a funny thing of like, all right, why are you holding? I was almost doing a hostage video. That's what I was texting you. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, this is supposed to be a 5-minute exercise. And it's been an hour.
Oh, no.
And now they're all watching me to see if I'm having a heart attack. I'm surprised they weren't shoving aspirin in my mouth. It was just fucking stupid.
I
But I did go home and just nap the rest of the day because I was like, all right, I've seen it. The EKG was like spot on perfect.
Yeah.
And I had to take an EKG test today at work. I just, get tested on reading the rhythms. And then a little not asshole, he's a very nice gentleman, but the guy that was doing the EKG at the end of it, I set up, he doesn't know me. I just walked in the room and I'm like, can I get a printout of that or can I look at it? And he's like, you want to look at it? So I turned around, I'm like, yeah, I do kind of. So I turned around, he's like, well, print somewhere else. I'm like, I just need to see it. So I looked at it, I'm like, oh, good, I can go home, that's fine. And he was like, oh, yeah, you can read it. I'm like, actually, I can't read it. I have to take a test on it tomorrow. So I kind of wanted to see it.
Right.
I'm going to say I studied today and I looked at an EKG.
I get you.
But it was, I was very happy with it later because I was like, it probably was a smart thing to do.
Right.
You see a 50-some-year-old fat guy sweating profusely, a little clammy, who you can't hear lung sounds because his stomach sounds like a fucking popcorn machine. So that was my
It's
yesterday.
a hell of
and
a
then-
day at sea, sir.
No, I was gonna say maybe your days off need to be a little more restricted. Just a thought.
Well, I probably did drink the whole bottle of wine at the
Probably,
bar,
sure.
but I was there for 7 hours. And
It wasn't a short
that's
play date.
Not an exaggeration.
Oh, no.
At all. I got there at 7, and I left as they were like wiping down the counters. We had 4 finales, 6 curtain calls, 2 encores.
The staff finally gave up and went and sat on the patio and just let us do what the fuck we wanted. All of a
Really,
sudden,
that's the better way
no,
to go.
that's literally what happened. All of a sudden, I'm playing videos off of YouTube, going, "Wait, is it this one? Is it this one?"
Sure.
Yeah, the staff just gave up. But I will alert the staff to water needs of our customers.
And I know to ask.
Come on.
And I just get kind of like, oh, I don't want to bother people because no. And I tell
It's
and we've said
literally
it at
their
restaurants
job.
before. It's just easier if you leave me the
Leave
picture
a picture,
because
sure.
you will never. And now if you watch this and you watch how much water I drink during the course of one of these shows.
Yeah.
And right as rain today, 2 spicy meals today, but had enough water and a little bit of
Sure.
milk. Oh my God, it was hysterical because I'm like, I know what this is, but he's like, turn the tables. I'm like, all right, fuck you.
Wow. I'm glad I'm not your MD.
Now you know me, I was much nicer than that, and I smiled and made fun of him in my mind.
as God intended.
And you, Monsieur McKee, you had your birthday, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it was
Bon
my
anniversaire,
It was my
is how they
birthday
say
last Thursday, so we went and had a lovely dinner with my mom at Durant's. And just that you were saying that she should have remember the water girl, the girl
Yeah.
fills everybody's water. I really just want to leave the carafe. Just leave it here. Because you come by every 37 seconds and fill my water glass because I'm just drinking water like crazy.
Yeah.
And again,
between the two of us, she had.
but
like,
and I guess that's just the restaurant has, that's their decision. They don't think it looks appropriate to have it just sitting there. I'm like, it's just going to save everybody time. Leave the pitcher here.
Yeah.
But whatever. So no, but the dinner was lovely, and then we came and saw you because it was Thursday night. We came over
true.
and saw you.
Bet you did.
And so no, that was a lovely thing. Again, not hugely eventful. I mean, you turn 48 and you have dinner with your mom and a friend, and you go home.
And the Durance was lovely as always.
As always. It was a little noisy. That drunk guy behind us, and then I didn't see it because I wasn't facing that direction, but he did.
Table pinball.
This one guy got
yeah.
up and he was pinballing, and
He must have had 2 martinis.
He planted into the outdoor when he meant to go the indoor, and he was trying to go out the indoor and biffed it.
Oh, and not biffed. It was a full-on
wonderful.
collision.
We could hear it.
But you know that there's something really going wrong in life when you get hit by a door and fall into the door. Like, you know that your forward momentum of drunkenness has taken you too far. Like, he didn't go backwards when the door hit him.
Yeah.
He kept
He
going.
just kept on going.
And the other person was coming with the tray at full speed, and he was just a stumbling.
Yeah.
Listen,
And
you know as well as I do, the physics of drunk people are astounding. They
Yeah.
make no sense.
Gravity
No.
makes no sense at that point. And then all you could see, because we couldn't see, like, I knew which way he fell because I saw him like, timber.
Yeah.
Right.
But all you could see was a bunch of people just standing down and looking at the ground. Like, whether somebody was down there helping him, I don't know, but it turned into a whole restaurant of looky-loos. And
What do we do with that? What do we do? What do we do?
This is entertainment, people.
Yeah, it was so that biffed. And then the guy behind us was wasted and was a little overly loud. I would have preferred him to have not been there. And then as we were getting up to leave, he had already got up and he was fighting with the server about that they double charged his card. He was claiming. He's claiming this is what's going to happen. Well, they gave him the bill, and he did something and dropped the receipts below him in the booth. So he gets out. He can't find him. He doesn't know. He's no. But did you even charge my card? Like, he's trying to get, and I'm like, they're right there. And the way the server's like, oh God, thank you for finding those. Like, because I just resolved an entire situation where the drunk ass isn't going to win on a whole bill of who knows how much of that for
Yeah.
that table.
Can I do a little public service?
Oh my God, is there a video?
People,
Do we cut to a video of you in a closet?
People,
Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
gotta find a better drink.
public service from Kat Carlson
you
in
know.
reference to drunk people. Kat?
Here, stop fighting with your server about the bill. If you think there's a problem, if you think you've been double charged, don't fight it out then. It's gonna be fine. Call the manager the next morning.
Yeah.
They'll be more than happy to help you.
Or when you're sober, look on your bank statement and see what it says.
But even on the bank statement, if you think there's a problem, if you pull out your phone at 1 o'clock in the morning and go, "What the fuck? Why did you charge me this much?" Why don't you just take a breath,
Yeah.
wait till morning,
yeah.
call the manager.
I mean, if it's a huge amount, if it's hundreds of dollars missing from your account,
Sure.
and you've got somewhere
That's
to be,
fine.
that's
but
fine.
But if your cheap ass spent $4.50 and you're worried about a $25 authorization, hold on a minute.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Very much so. Anyway, can
Angry people.
So anyway, good week. I'm leaving in the morning. I've got to do a quick turnaround in what is it called? Vegas, Las Vegas. I've got to go up and
Vegas,
do
baby.
a rewire of a bar up there. They called me and they wanted to do it themselves, and I'm like, well, you can do that, but if it doesn't work, I'm not going to be able to troubleshoot this from here.
Right.
I'm like, oh, we probably should just have you come up. I'm like, yep. So boom, done. So I leave in the morning. My plane leaves at 6. I arrive after 7, and then I go to work, and we should be done with it like 6 hours. A whole network move and rewire. So that'll be fun tomorrow. Then
So are you staying overnight?
I'm staying overnight at the Orleans, and I'll just sleep and wake up, and I'm walking. I mean, and it's a walk. I don't even need a car because you walk. It's 2 football field lengths away from the bar. Charlie's Vegas is where I'm going. So yeah, and then I just get up the next day, and I'm back here by like 2:30.
Wow.
So quick turnaround for
Do
my.
you need to ride home from the airport?
Oh, thank you very much. No, actually, I'm going to drive. I'll just
Okay.
leave the Explorer in the drive and park it, boom, and the next day I just get it and come home. So we'll do that. I found some pictures. These won't be as of interesting to you, I don't think, because there aren't. I didn't find a bunch of hot women reporters.
Because hot girls know better than to stand out in the fucking rain.
So let's start with
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Well, no, there are some of them. There were a couple, and I do appreciate the fact that they use a lot of local reporters from the Miami, Florida area that were of an ethnic background, so that they would pronounce all of the cities' names correctly.
Smart.
I noticed that they would do that. They would toss to Mia Valenzuela, and she's just rattling off these names where a white person is never going to get it.
MSNBC is lucky because they sit in the Universal NBC Studios umbrella, the networks of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can pull from everywhere. It's when I think CNN pulls from mostly CBS affiliates. Because whenever they're like, oh, we had from our affiliate blah 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 here, and you're like, wait a minute.
There's
There's
no
not a
CNN
local-
office, right?
But I think because ABC doesn't either. But because they don't have a 24-hour cable network, I think CNN goes to CBS. Because there was one guy that I'm like, I want to know you a little better.
Oh, you were done with your story. I'm sorry. I thought there was more to your story. So anyway, I pulled up some pictures of anchors, and I've already forgotten this guy's name. So I think this is
That's Thomas Roberts.
Okay, Thomas Roberts. Thomas Roberts is the one with the arms, and that picture does not represent the arms that he was exposed showing.
There's no arms shown in that at all.
Well, yeah, but those aren't shown.
I
That
was
body
promised
is
arms.
He's the one that I found out was gay.
duh. So he is. So no, but the when he was on the air, he was in a black T-shirt, and like, wow, he's been working out. This picture does not represent as good of a body as he has now. So then there's that. And then the other one that apparently this one's married though. I like Miguel Almaguer.
Yeah.
I enjoy him. David Muir, though this is just a picture I found of him. David Muir from ABC, another good-looking boy.
That might be his head photoshopped on someone
That's-
else's body.
I'm gonna go
Not
with
really
the
sure,
Photoshop,
but
I'm
I like
pretty
it.
sure.
But this motherfucker, the one in front, he is a hottie, and he is all over the place on anchor for NBC. I can't.
What's this young man's name?
That might be Gio. No, he was with ABC. Gio Benitez, and that's his boyfriend. But he is.
I wonder if they call him Gio Benito.
Oh well, on the
You know,
air.
but Allie, who gives a shit looking like that?
Yeah, I was not mad. So there's different people covering the tragedies of this past weekend, and it's. Oh, and I found out today, a friend of mine named Ray Salas, who used to live here, in fact, lived on this street. He moved several years ago, and I don't know exactly why he chose to move there. If there was a family connection or whatever, he actually lives on the Keys, Florida Keys. And they evacuated clear up to Georgia, and in fact, into Tennessee. Went to Dollywood while they were over the course of the.
Vacation, only a gay.
Well, he loves Dolly too. So they went to Dollywood, but unfortunately, they obviously were watching news reports of everything and got to see literally their street, their house on the news, and realized the devastation that they are going home to. So unfortunately for him, but I know that story he's not alone in that by all means, because there are several people who are just getting back into their neighborhoods and their places of residence and finding out that there's little to nothing left. And it's
Yeah.
as somebody who's been in the area of tornadoes and I've seen what devastation that does, I cannot even imagine standing in the midst of that. TV does not do it justice what you're looking at.
It doesn't.
Oh, it
It's
doesn't. And the
super
fact
crazy.
that they got hit at Category 4, a direct hit under one of those keys,
Mm-hmm.
and you know when the news is fucking around with you, there was no live from the keys. They got way the hell out of there.
Oh, absolutely. But 10,000 people remained on the Keys.
Well, a lot
they
of it
said-
is because they have. It's like one bridge.
Which one? Right.
It's the one
but
bridge
I
that
was,
goes,
but I
and
was
they
even
ran out of-
surprised that many people had stayed. I didn't think the number would be that high.
I didn't hear 10,000. I thought I heard 1,000.
I heard then they were throwing around the number 10,000.
Okay, yeah, and again because they didn't know at the time because there was no they lost communication early.
But I was actually surprised. I didn't know that many. First of all, I've never been there. I don't know how big they are. I was surprised that number of people could even fit on it. Like, I didn't know how big the Keys really were and how many people really lived there.
It's a string of many islands. I'm never sure. Key West is the fancy one.
Key West, Key Largo, I forget what the other
Yeah.
ones are. But anyway, it was just unfortunate to see his post on Facebook today that, they saw in the news their street or their neighborhood and they realized, yeah, we're going home to
Yeah,
that.
because I mean they took it. I mean,
Yeah.
and the one thing we were talking about last week was the longer it stayed on Cuba, the better for everyone
Sure,
in
'cause it would
America.
diminish.
Unfortunately, and it really did stay that extra. And they're just devastated.
And yeah, Cuba,
and we won't. That won't get any attention. You know what I mean? Like the places like. They're really hoping the news will come back to the U.S. Virgin Islands because they took a direct hit from a 5, and they're even smaller. Like,
it's crazy.
and they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Where are you going to evacuate to?
Yeah, you're on an
In
island.
in the Virgin Islands, you going to go to
Nowhere.
Puerto Rico? All you're going to do is follow a storm. You know what I mean? You're evacuating to Africa. It's a long way to go, and now they have no airport to come back because I think the main airport at the Virgin Islands, they said. If you look at the outside, it looks fine, but that there's like almost no terminal left.
Really?
Like the flyovers that they were doing were like, oh, that looks like that structure held up, and I think she's the U.S. representative from the Virgin Islands that was like, no, there's no airport there.
Yeah.
So, just amazing. Yeah, Barbuda is the one that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's nuts. So it's just been, again, overwhelming to watch all of it.
I mean, when it's twice in the same week, you have a once in every 500-year event, I guess.
I feel like we need to rename the events.
Well,
I think.
The meme that was going around Facebook, and not to make light of anything that happened to anybody, obviously, but it's like Mother Nature realizes that Trump denies climate changes, and then Mother Nature's like, hold my beer.
Yeah, I got something to say.
I gotta ramp this up a little bit for you. Show you.
And there was an interview with a city council member from Miami Beach or Jacksonville, one of the two that just got flooded out, even though they weren't in the direct path, just because they're low-level cities.
The lady with the
lady
gray hair, lady, yeah.
And when Chris, what's his name?
Cuomo.
No, the little MSNBC.
Oh, Chris Hayes.
Chris Hayes asked her, he's like, so what do you think when they say, like, it's not the time to talk about climate change? She just laughed.
Yeah.
She's like, who says that? She's like, well, your president, the rest of your party.
The same people that say it's not time to talk about gun control after a million,
after
after 1,000 kids get shot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, was it the Mobile Exxon guy that said, oh, it's insensitive to talk about climate change right
Probably.
It's perfect time.
now? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's as all of a sudden Miami's a lake, and she's like, I mean, it's great if we want to build things stronger and faster and better. She's like, or we could do something about the 10 feet of water coming at us.
Yeah.
Except they repealed those guidelines that would build things stronger and faster and better,
yeah,
so
right.
now we don't have to do that.
Well, I was
either.
Because regulations are bad, except for one of the reasons why Naples is still standing is because they built things better, stronger, faster, better.
I was
So hopefully
surprised.
a little self-preservation will come in when you're buying a new home in the Florida area.
One of the I'm going to say city planner, but that's not accurate. He is one of the, I guess, a city maintenance person, whatever. He's head of whatever the hell it was, and I believe it was Miami. He was talking about the fact that they have been fighting for, I forget how many years, he said, like maybe 15, 20 years, to get money to fix all of the drainage pipes that they've got because they're all full. They're full of junk. They're full of dirt. And so he's like, out of a 60-inch pipe, like you've got 18 inches that's just for water flow when the whole thing should be, but they can't get money allocated in the budget to go in and proactively clean out all this shit. And he's like, I think we're going to get our money now.
Yeah.
Because they could have, a lot of this drainage could have been eliminated because of the fact, or the flooding could have been eliminated because they could have drained the fucker.
And I saw you on the news, and I was cracking up because they were showing one of the flooded out streets in Naples.
Okay.
I was in Naples?
After the storm surge came back.
You're very busy.
I guess.
And Chris Cuomo was like asking the asshole that was on the street doing the from the street reporting, like, what is that car doing behind you? Like, what is that person doing? The person got out of the car and went over to the storm drains for it and was clearing the debris out all on their own. No one asked them. And this person was just going a little couple feet or however far apart they were and cleared out the debris from a couple storm drains to empty the streets. And I was like, that's what you did that night after you stopped yelling at cab drivers and me about driving through the water.
You always have to go back to that. But there was
It's a good
there was
story.
actually there was actually a video on Facebook that showed two people with laundry baskets. And they were using them to strain, like a colander. They were using them to strain the water as it was coming towards one of those drains. And there was another kid that was, because leaves and sticks kept getting around them, and they were just trying to keep it from stopping, let the water go. But they were trying.
I mean, the children of the future, put them in front of the drain.
Sure, clean out those drains.
Yeah.
God damn it.
God
Damn it.
I believe the children are our future.
Well, they got to do something, for crying out loud. They got to, who knows?
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to do this segment because we can. Here, whoa, if I hit the right one.
Obsession. Are you obsessed? Is it keeping you up at night? Do you find yourself constantly making references only to be met with blank stares? Obsession. This segment is for you. Obsession. Whether it's musicals, mowers, Motown, Subarus, or Sondheim, it's time to share your obsession. With the show with Clayton McKee.
Kat Carlson.
I think mine is a rerun, but from the other perspective. I'm pretty sure last week I said Hillary's book.
Yeah.
And this week I'm going to say Hillary's book. But here's why. last week I was overhearing about it and thought maybe this isn't the right time. But then I heard all of the people that were like, "Oh, this isn't the right time for her to put out a book," and I say, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Now I want to buy her book 3 different ways, and now I want to read her book because fuck you. Let her put out a book. So there I am. That's what
I have a Hillary story coming up in headlines. Actually,
Is it the one where she sounds like a robot when she reads?
I have no audio. No,
Second part.
I hate
Second
that.
part of my.
That's hard to listen to. It has the way that she does that audiobook.
yeah.
And then I heard her read a line earlier today on the news from the book was the same line. I'm like, why didn't you do that? Same song.
So Clayton's boyfriend, through no fault of his own, has a leaked. Well, I guess now it was leaked then, but now it's available.
Right.
Had an excerpt of Hillary's new book from her audiobook, where she reads it herself. And ordinarily, that's very charming and fun, and you would think that would be wonderful. But I couldn't. I had to listen to it 3 times to tell if it was Siri reading the book or if it was Hillary reading the book.
It's a little
imitating Hillary Clinton.
little
It
mechanical.
was so robotic
Yeah.
and so, but that's my only criticism of a book I haven't read yet. And fuck all you people who think that she shouldn't put out her book. Let her put out her book.
Oh, it's the perfect. It's time.
Do it.
You know what I mean? She's got
I'm
a
in. Yep.
She's
Last
got a-
week I was over it. Now I'm all in.
She's got a career to go back to. So now I'd like to throw to video. Do you have my video to show what I'm obsessed with?
God, no. Hang on. I can.
So
I thought your obsession was going to take longer. I thought you were going to have more than that.
And I probably should have warned you what mine was going to be.
I don't have more than that. No. I want to read the book. And then I'll talk more about it after I read it.
Yeah, because
I don't want to be an asshole talking about a book I haven't read
yes,
and being a bitch about it.
right.
Like I was last week.
People who criticize shows, they movies they've never seen. Shut the
Right.
fuck up. So I am just fascinated, and always have been, by people standing outside. Do you want me to send it to you?
No, well, I've just got to find the link where you tagged me. I'll get there.
He'll
Okay.
find it. You talk.
You talk. Tell the backstory,
So
Al.
fascinated by all that, and then a couple years ago, in preparation for some trip I was going on, I don't think it was actually that trip, I bought a raincoat, and I was like in California, and I saw this cute raincoat, and I bought it. And I think it was because the year before it had rained like everywhere I went or something. I was going somewhere where a raincoat seemed like the right thing to do. And then never got to wear it. So then we were in P-Town a couple years ago in the summer, and some hurricane came up the East Coast while we were there, and we got rained in. We got the very, 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 very remnants of the hurricane. But it was like a miserable 2 days where we just played Cards Against Humanity, and like we couldn't go to the beach. We were really not doing anything. We were kind of like housebound for a couple days. And the one morning, everyone was just out trying to do something. Like we were just sick of being stuck in the house. So, and the other side note is I make videos every time I travel with Kevin where I interview Kevin about our trip, where I usually use the umbrella or a whisk from the kitchen as the microphone.
Just seeing this still shot makes you laugh.
So
It's a good video.
this time, our friend Chris had just gotten a new camera that he wanted to try. I was wanting to wear my raincoat and just happened to catch Kevin coming in from going outside to see what the noises we were hearing from the street was. So roll tape. Live from the big storm in Provincetown. It's just raining and raining, and oh my God, here comes oh my God, it's the GoPro. Are you bleeding?
No, I'm not bleeding.
All right. Why do you have no shoes?
The rain swept them off my feet.
How far have you been running to escape the devastation and danger that's all around us?
About 4 feet. And my umbrella has broken in the treacherous weather.
We are just 3 feet from a dry studio, but we're going to broadcast live from outside of this puddle for no apparent reason.
My friend David Ham is at the emergency room right now because a raindrop hit him so hard in the eye.
Oh my God, the light sprinkles have affected a local tourist. I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Another friend of mine, Jose Mania Wheelie, went running in the rain and came back totally well.
Have they found him? Is he safe?
Yes, it's right there.
Oh, I can see him too. Oh, there's a smell of wet bear. Running for safety. Oh, they're telling me in my ear that the storm is getting worse. That's not a bird. Oh, there's a smell of wet bear. We're back with poorly shod local tourist Kevin Dasso and his spilled cup of coffee. How are you dealing with the smell of wet bear?
My God. So,
So So now that's Chris Willie
Oh God.
and his editing of like 17 takes.
Poorly shot.
Poorly
Kelly
shot.
Basso.
And it's Bear Week, which is what
Right, in P-Town, which I think I got that, but when you said poorly shot, I was like, oh
Every
my
time.
God.
It's me every
stolen
time.
straight out of the world according to Garp.
Oh,
So the best part about that is how rain photographs is that it's just the water coming off the roof. It's not actually raining through all of that, but because of the water feature being in front, it looks like we're standing in the pouring rain, and it was
that's
drip
fantastic.
dry.
oh.
And so that was the thing that Chris was worried about when he watched it back. And I'm like, rain doesn't photograph. It never does. That's why they stand there with a hose over people, even in real rain. It doesn't photograph right. So, and that was the perfect example of it not raining, but it looks like a terrible storm.
That's why they used milk and singing in the rain.
Oh my God, it's just funny.
Or they stand under a tent and then it runs off the tent where it's accumulated and it makes a waterfall.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and Kevin is always a good sport with those. We do one. If you go to my YouTube page, there's like 4 different years of interviews with Kevin where he talks into the microphone, and it's just fun. He's such a willing victim after 12 drinks.
He's delightful. Every time he pops up, he's
Well, how much
run into
coffee
him
or
from
wine
time
are
to
you
time.
on at this time of the
No,
day?
that's first thing we just got up. Kevin had
You
just
don't
poured a
seem
cup
like
of
it.
coffee. No, I had just gotten up and walked downstairs, and we had made a video the night before, or 2 nights before, and Chris was like, I have my new camera. Do you want to make a video? I'm like, let me go get that goddamn raincoat. And so we just kept
And a
doing
whisk.
Kevin's entrance from there because he has the umbrella open, and that was our microphone for the other parts of the trip.
Oh.
So, and he's always laughing at what I make him talk into. And the fact that because he's so delightful, and he buys into whatever I pretend is a microphone, and he leans into it. Like, just the little things he does, if you watch, where he's so into it.
Is your friend okay? He's right there. Oh, I see him.
I can see him too.
So that's just a little taste of what we do in P-Town every summer. We just have so much fun doing the
God
stupidest
damn.
shit.
Is there something else you'd like to throw in here? Or no, you good?
No, that was
Okay.
my obsession is just
So-
with the weather, and you can tell it's been for
I have-
years.
I have 2 obsessions. Well, not really obsessions, but I have enjoyed this week. One, we talked about this last week or week before. The 11-year-old kid named Luke Chaco from Texas, who sang with Idina Menzel and just blew the house down with it, and so much that he sang twice, and she wouldn't let any of the other kids sing because, well, what are they going to do to compete with him? He was on, Ellen had him on, and she surprised him by having Idina come out, because she was talking about how he has a group of friends, like not posse or group or whatever the hell she called it. And she's like, well, you know who you need to add to your
squad
your
is probably
squad.
what-
Squad,
yeah.
that was it.
That's what the kids are calling it these days.
She's like, you know who you need to have in your squad? And he goes, well, you. And she goes, well, yeah, but like, who else do you really need in your squad? And he goes, Portia. He goes, yes, you need Portia, yes. And then she's like, but who else? And she's just kind of points, and he looks over his shoulder, and she just walks up, and he loses it. It was just so cute. This little kid talking about the bullying that he goes through, and the kids, and it's funny that because he actually said in the little interview that they call him, they make fun of him, they call him gay, and they call him something else. And he said, and I'm neither one. And I'm like, oh honey. We have
but
to,
you are, Blanche.
we're
you
gonna
are.
we're gonna have a little discussion with you later. But then he got up and sang again, and then found out that I guess it was common knowledge he had never seen Wicked. So Idina walked over and gave him 6 VIP passes to New York. They're flying them to see Wicked, and his entire family gets to go backstage and meet the cast. And the
Wow.
kid lost his shit because he's like, oh, I mean, it's just amazing for him. If wherever in the hell he lives in Texas, I have no idea, but it was just the cutest thing to watch this
And
kid.
what an exciting show to get to go backstage at, because we have a friend that works in Tempe that let me backstage for the tour, and I'm like, all right, I saw this on Broadway, like, this ain't nothing, and I'm like wetting my pants with excitement. So I mean, to see it backstage at Broadway would just be,
Oh, absolutely.
little kid's gonna die.
Sure, explode. And then he'll come out in 2 weeks and be cast in a show.
He's
So-
got 10 years before
Now,
he
I
has to
will
come
say,
out. He's
he
got
may
time.
not actually be gay, but he's going to be a drag queen after she's defying gravity. He's going to have green paint and a black dress in about half a minute.
he does all of
Have
his
his friends lifting him up by the ankles.
exactly.
he does all of his talking like this. She's gay.
Maybe he just got his nails done. We
So,
don't know.
well, you never know. The other thing was, and I thought of you. I've mentioned over and over that I've been watching reruns of South Park because it just takes my mind off of everything else, and some of the shit that they say is just so funny. This came out of the blue at me the other day, and I don't know how much South Park you've ever watched, but the second it happened, I literally laughed so loud that it scared the cat off the bed, and it was just hilarious to me. And I thought of you first because
It's pretty loud. Don't you have a deaf cat?
No, they're not deaf. But this is just a little snippet of Mr. Garrison, or excuse me, Mr. Which one? Mr. Garrison is the school teacher. Mr. Mackey is the counselor. Mm-hmm. So this is Mr. Garrison. You'll enjoy this. You'll get this. You'll understand why, to me, this is for you, Al. So watch this. Here we go.
Whereas Shalagadoola Mechikaboola equals X and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo is Y. Put them together and what have you got? Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, X plus Y equals Y, X equals 0. The song is badly written.
I did not know where
I did not see that coming.
I didn't either. I just was like, bah! It was so goddamn funny to me. And I thought, well, Al will appreciate this because
That's what you watch South Park for.
this song is
Just
poorly written.
For those moments.
It's true.
Oh, it cracked me up. Oh, for crying out loud. Whoops. There's that. Well, let's see if we can get through. Oh, my gosh. Well, we're coming up.
We're right on
Right on
time.
time, really, for an hour. We worked out pretty well.
Listen, backseat producers.
Yeah.
Settle
Yeah.
down. Hit it.
Well, we're almost there. Hang on. I had to do a couple more things. We had a technical issue earlier because Microsoft likes to do updates and fuck everything else up. So I had to do a little mastery earlier to figure this.
A little
Where's
bibbity bobbity boo.
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo?
Yeah.
The song is poorly written. God damn it, that was funny as shit to me. He's just so dead serious about
Just
it.
nonsense words.
It's all right. We'll figure it out. Okay, let's try this. Headlines on what is this? This is the 12th. I'm all over the place. This is hell. Anyway, here we go. We'll get through it. Selfie settlement is not monkey business.
Dead lesbian.
Robert E. Lee descendant resigns as pastor after a VMA's backlash.
Wow.
Hillary bought a home.
Dead family.
Alex Jones now says Donald Trump is being covertly drugged.
Bikini baristas sue Washington City over dress code.
Nerdy article about a lot of dead people.
Cruz blames staffing issue for porn video liked on his Twitter account.
Those and more things coming up.
Those are very precise headlines.
I guess so. We'll be back. It's Q Talk
right out of the
America.
headlines.
Here we go. Oh my God.
You're listening to Q Talk America.
We're only leaving you with dinner because I didn't build the break like I should. Oh, there it is. This is what I wanted right here. This is it.
You're listening to You Talk America.
Oh my gosh, we're back. It's just a little bit after 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night. You're in Studio C. I'm here along with Kat Carlson and Al Perkins. Marnie has the night off. Thanks for being with us. Amina, Jenny, Joe D, and Anant, my mom, whoever else is in the chat room. It's all right. Everybody's there. Thanks for being with us. We got a lot going on. Not executed very well because I didn't put any of this production time to use earlier today. I was busy. I got things to do. My God, I had to book a late day hair appointment. I'm leaving in the morning for Vegas for a whole 24 hours. It's crazy. But anyway, we are here. Get over it. Coming up a little bit later, two things with Kat Carlson, entertainment with Al, but right now we're going to get into our headline segment, and you're going to be damn glad to listen to it. You got your coffee? You all good? Everybody's ready?
I'm very excited. Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. A lawsuit over who owns the copyright to selfie photographs snapped by a monkey has ended in a settlement before a federal court could answer the novel legal question. Lawyers for an animal rights group said Monday that they would ask a federal appeals court to dismiss the case. They say photographer David Slater, whose camera was used to take the photo, agreed to donate 25% of any future revenue to charities dedicated to protecting, and I'm going to mess up the name of this.
It's European.
Crested macaques. They're the well. I'll show you the picture of the monkey. It's
macaque, right? Is the monkey?
Is that right? It's this. This is the monkey that took the selfie. That's one of them, and I don't know. They smile, I guess, because I think. That's one of them, and then there was this one too.
Look at that face.
Yeah.
Just look at it.
Yeah. The people for the ethical treatment of animals, otherwise known as PETA, sued on behalf of the, again, macaque monkey? I don't know how you pronounce it. MACAQUE. Back in 2015, they sued. It sought financial control of the photographs for the benefit of the monkey, which is named Naruto. Naruto lives in a rainforest.
Naruto and I would be friends.
Sure, he looks nice enough, doesn't he? My gosh. Naruto lives in a rainforest reserve on the island of Sulawesi in Indonesia. He took the selfies in 2011 with a camera that Slater, a British wildlife photographer, had set up in the reserve. Slater later published the photos in a book. A joint statement posted to PETA's website Monday read, quote, PETA and David Slater agree that this case raises important, cutting-edge issues about expanding legal rights for non-human animals, a goal that they both support, and they will continue their respective work to achieve this goal. A lower court ruled in the photographer's favor, and the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals was considering PETA's appeal, but again, they have dropped it because of an agreement.
Okay, War of the Planet of the Apes here. First, PETA, stop annoying me. Second, two things.
Appropriate.
Really? We're tying up the 9th Circuit Court over a selfie taken by a monkey?
Well,
I don't mean to...
Listen, if corporations can be people, then monkeys can be people. That's all I'm going to
let the monkey be a person before I let the corporation be a people.
See? That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying I agree with either side, but I do understand a little about what their fight is. He's reaping all of the money from this when the fact that I get why in some cases the money should be split up and go to a habitat for them or to help them. I get that.
Yeah.
But again, I agree. We're tying up the 9th Circuit with this. Come on. We need to have a lower court deal with it. Like maybe the city of. That would be it. We'll just, a municipal court, we'll be done with this. But I agree. I think it's nice that they're going to split the monies and, the preserve for these monkeys.
Should be made better in any way possible.
I get that. I think that's cool.
My camera, my photo. End of story.
But he set it up in their environment. Like it's like if somebody set up a camera in your house and then started web streaming it and you don't get any profits, but you're the one doing all the crazy shit.
Two things. First of all, If somebody's going to set up cameras in my house without me knowing, that's an actual crime.
Oh no, I get that. No, I understand. I understand. But again, I get that.
Yes.
Nobody's going to show up in your house and do that
Right.
anymore. So,
But that's like,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, yes, somebody should probably be a nice person, and with the money they made off a coffee table book, should donate some of the proceeds. But at the same time, like, settle down.
Yeah.
If you
Some
got some
monkey
interest
people.
raised, have a nice telethon. You know what I mean? I don't know.
oh, they're doing that telethon tonight. By
As
the
soon
way.
as you say the word PETA to me, I'm just instantly annoyed.
I'm not on board.
Yeah.
Not on board. However, a case that did take up the court's time, and plenty of it, for good reason. Edith Windsor. You might know. I'm moving on from your story.
No,
You see how
I
segued? Good job.
I totally knew what you were doing, but I'm going to go do something with my coffee, but I'll
Good.
listen from the kitchen.
Edith Windsor, if you don't remember, was a gay rights activist whose landmark case led the Supreme Court to grant same-sex married couples federal recognition for the first time and rights to a host of federal benefits that until then only married straight people had enjoyed. Sadly, Edith Windsor died today. Died in a hospital, confirmed by her apparently second wife.
I know. That's what I said. It's never too late to find love, people.
For those of you that don't remember, the Edith Windsor case was the...
She's so touchy.
from the kitchen.
Yeah.
Settle down, Peanut Gallery.
You're the audience when you're out there. Act like it.
Clap sometimes. Send us a tweet.
Yeah.
In any event, for those of you that don't quite remember and have some short-term memory loss, gay marriage in America came in two phases. And the first was the Windsor case, where Edith Windsor and her first wife, Dr. Spire, went to Canada, got married, came back home, lived
Thought
happily,
everything
whatever,
was fine.
thought everything was good. Dr. Spire died 2 years later, and Edith was left paying $360,000 in inheritance tax. Now, straight people, when your wife or husband dies and you get all of the, you
What's coming to
assume,
you.
right? You get everything you've earned
Yeah.
for all of those years. You don't pay any taxes on that. That's just yours. But when Uncle Joe dies and leaves you a bunch of money, you pay taxes on some of that because it's not an immediate spouse. And so the case ended up going up through the court system and to the Supreme Court, where she won. And so that's when it became the whole states' rights thing, and that's when we started to see all of those like hateful for and against gay marriage state initiatives, because the federal government said, "Yep, your super rights, hands off. We'll get it." Now it's up to all the states, and then I think it was 2 years later.
Obergefell, right?
Yes. Obergefell.
Obergefell.
There's too many consonants in his name, but God love him. The Obergefell case really just knocked down all of the anti-gay marriage statutes in every state.
They got rid of DOMA and all that stuff.
All of it was gone. Windsor was the one that got rid of the Defensive Marriage Act. The Defensive Marriage Act was signed by Bill Clinton in 1996 at a time when gays didn't want marriage, first of all.
Right. Me included.
Right.
Thought it was a stupid thing to want.
It wasn't on the agenda. There were so many other equality issues that until somebody thought up DOMA, nobody was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's really fight and march in the streets for this. There were a lot of other things, and
Job
still
equality,
are.
yeah.
Right, and still are other things that are
fair housing and employment.
very important, and we're in front of the line. But anyway.
Yeah. And that really was a movement that came about because of somebody saying you couldn't do something.
Right.
Like it was a gentle, quiet, hushed movement that nobody was
Sure.
really on board with, and all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, let me hold my purse.
Right.
This bitch.
It was one of those things that, oh yeah, well, someday we'll get married, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was a thing that you would tell somebody just to placate them. I'm not speaking from experience, but people have said.
I don't know. Oh no, I was.
No, not Sharon.
I don't.
No.
No, gosh, no. I wasn't even thinking that. I don't recall in 5 years has the word placate actually been used on this show. I think that may be a first.
We don't placate people.
I've just not heard it used or used correctly.
Because we're doing it silently.
Oh, the placate is silent.
Yes.
Let me tell you the number of people I'm placating in a week.
Oh, well.
In any event, sad news, and certainly someone who should be in all of the gay history books for all of eternity.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she's a woman who, in the grief of losing her partner of 40 years, took all that and stood up for herself and her rights and her partner's rights and for the betterment of everyone.
I was, though sad to hear of the passing, I was happy to see how much that rapid fired across all social media today and all news outlets.
Yeah.
Because again, it was important enough for them to have interrupted, talking about the Kardashians or whatever the fuck they're talking about to do that. I thought it was at least she's getting the acknowledgement of her life that she deserves.
And there was a question about the documentary, and I got to tell you, there were so many for a while. There was the anti-8 campaign movie. There was the movie about either it was about one of the couples or it was about both of the couples, but I ended up watching.
They did one about both of them because their cases were somewhat simultaneous. Obergefell just got to the Supreme Court later. But there was a time before Windsor got to the Supreme Court that their cases were kind of parallel, and we were kind of like, oh, who's getting there first?
Right. And I know that the one had more to do with the second one because it focused more on the guy that defended, that was Bush's lawyer for Bush v. Gore, and then he ended up on our team for the marriage equality, and the conservatives in the country were losing their fucking minds, and there was people wondering if we'd let a fox in the hen house, and what have we done by having this guy as our lawyer? And then so the documentary I watched, I was more interested in his story, and if I have this correct, his wife died on the plane that hit the Pentagon in 9/11, and now I can't. Olson.
Oh,
I think his last name is Olson. Was the lawyer that did both?
She'll pull it up moments from now.
No, I'm not seeing an Olsen. Hang on, let me get to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Don't confuse it with Olsen twins. It's a very different story.
Very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
I may have to wrong. So then we're going to go back a couple weeks. This is a story that I read the headline and then lost the story. But one of Robert E. Lee's descendants faced a little bit of backlash after he spoke at the VMAs. Members of his parish, I am so sorry, but I can't find the name of the church. Oh, the Bethel United Church of Christ in North Carolina. Robert E. Lee IV, a descendant of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. He spoke out against hate and evil in all of its many forms. Let me get this all right. I'm trying to put this all together. He said, "We are all called by God to speak out against hate and evil in its many forms." This is what he said in a statement to his former church. "There are so many good things going on with the congregation, and I do not want my fight to detract from the mission. If the recent media attention causes concern with my church, I reluctantly offer my resignation." Members of his church were concerned about his VMA speech, which explicitly supported the Black Lives Matter movement, the Women's March, and the life of Heather Heyer. He stressed that the action was not shared by all church members. So he was on the VMAs and spoke out as a direct descendant of Robert E. Lee, saying, fuck this shit with the statues. I am on the camp with the Black Lives Matter. Like, we are against this. We are, he stood with the Women's March and everything that went on there. And that the hate that came back from his church made him say, you know what, God bless you, but I'm out. Like,
good for him.
Like, this fight can't go down.
And more people need to be like that. Just stand up for their own thing, and then, you know, look, y'all figure your own shit out, but I'm going to move on.
And I say this all the time. My problem, like, I don't think when asshole Pat Roberts or the other one that's nearly dead that has a TV show, what's his name? Buchanan. What's the guy with the TV show where he's always saying that gays cause hurricanes? He's been around for a million fucking years.
Oh, that's Pat Robertson.
Pat Robertson.
Oh, okay.
Is that him?
And Jim Baker's back too.
So when these assholes start talking, like, I don't blame all Christians, but you should stand up and say, not in my name. Like, when that shit starts coming out of people's mouths and they're like standing under your Bible or under your flag, you got to be the one that says, no. Like, it's time to stand up. When somebody starts fighting for the Confederate flag, I'm going to stand up and be like, absolutely the fuck not. Right. Like, no, Americans don't feel like this. White people don't feel like this. Do not stand up and you like conjure up my name my presence. And he is doing exactly the right thing. He spoke out against it, and then when someone tried to fight with him, he's like, you know what? Peace out. I'll go find a better church. Like,
right.
It's, I think it's a remarkable little story. And I don't watch the VMAs because they lip sync too much.
I don't know any of the people.
And I don't know who they are.
Right. And majorly I don't care.
And then they
Demi
get out,
Lovato was on
then
there.
I become my grandparents.
Yeah, I was just saying. Exactly. Get out of my head. So, but it was an interesting thing, and it was a headline that I thought was clickbait because I was expecting that to go a whole different direction, and then I ended up becoming a fan of this guy.
Robert E. Lee, Jr.
This seemed like, right. and he's a great nephew or something. But it was one of those clickbait stories that I was happy I clicked on. Like, I was going in expecting to be disappointed in the human race and finding a little beacon of hope there.
Oh,
so
look at that. Good for you.
Good on
There's
ya.
that. Well, our dear friend who apparently, came out with the book, and she's all over the media schlepping the book, and you want to buy 4 or 5 different versions of it or whatever.
Yeah, I'll probably just buy one.
Hillary Clinton did something which I think it's good planning. It was very nice of her to do, but unfortunately you can't count your chickens before they hatch. Hillary has revealed in her book that she paid $1.6 million for a home next door to her current house so that the Secret Service would have a place to live after she was elected president, assuming everything went as was expected. The Democratic hopeful told Jane Pauley during an appearance on CBS Sunday Morning over the weekend that she had plunked down the money to purchase her neighbor's home back in August of 2016 to make the trans easier come that November. She says, quote, I know something about what it takes to move a president, and I thought I was going to win, obviously. Hillary said, obviously, I added, obviously she didn't. Hillary said that she still very much enjoys her second home despite losing the election just 3 months after
Where's
she
your
bought it.
vacation house? Right there.
Right next door. Bill stays over there. In fact, it was there she wrote parts of her new memoir called What Happened, which will be released today. Jane Pauley revealed on Sunday Morning that Clinton wrote the book at her dining room table in her nearby second home, detailing her thoughts on the election that she lost to Dumbass. Anyway, I just thought it was great that she thinks enough of the process, the office, everything she went through, obviously, as a first lady, to buy them a house to keep them comfortable, whereas Dumbass just wants to run them all over God's green earth, but not literally pay them as much as they need to be paid and run their budget out because he's just a fucktard.
Yeah.
It's just annoying me.
Because he's a lazy ass that's
And
never
by
worked
the
a
way,
job.
this is a beautiful little bungalow she bought. It's a nice little house. Apparently has a pool.
And the little Chippewa,
somewhere up there.
Chinapuk.
Chimchimchari.
Sure.
There's
a poorly worded song.
There are so many Native American named towns
right.
that
So
all
many.
kind of sound alike up in New York
It's not
State.
Chappaquiddick. We know that.
No, but there is Chippewa and there is
Sure.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a nice little story. I mean, again, don't count your chickens, but all roads led to that until the end. And my God, is it blowing up more and more as to what they're figuring out happened. And if they don't get their shit together and make sure that these firewalls and everything is fixed before 18, we're just going to go through it again for the midterms.
Yeah, maybe.
we're all gonna have to vote in a well-lit room with paper ballots and
and then
count it on the way out.
Thumbprints.
Yeah.
and speaking of that, not to take away from
No,
your
please
time.
do. No.
You can reclaim your time in a minute.
I will if I need
The
to.
other thing I've heard today, there was a new thing about, and again, I only heard it. I didn't read anything about it, or I haven't really got into the story. There's a new proposition out there for people have to go through they have to go through a gun background check before they can vote. It's a new way that they're trying to suppress voters. They're trying to do only people who can pass a background check for a gun can now.
That works the other way.
No,
Now, however, if you refuse to submit to the background check for a gun, you also don't get a gun, because then I'm on board.
No, I get your understanding of that, but there again, all this does is screams, only people who are agree to get a gun can vote. That's bullshit.
No, but the gun laws are so easy. It's so easy to get a gun and almost
A gun?
Gun and almost.
No, I get what
it's
you're.
so easy that it actually opens up the field to that many more people. That's how I take it. Is like
Everybody on
that's one
TV
of
is
those-
like, oh no,
That's
no.
one of the stories that could burn either way.
So
you know
you're
what I mean? In Texas, all you gotta do is like fart near something and you got yourself a gun license. You know what I mean?
It's true.
You can be legally blind in how many states and still get
Right.
a gun license.
17.
But I don't want to. I don't want somebody who's been voting their whole life and never has had a gun.
Well,
All of a sudden
I
needs to not.
I think the gun is not required. I don't think.
No,
you
no,
have to
no.
buy
I
a gun
get
to-
that. I'm just saying somebody who
However-
never wanted it doesn't need to go through a test for that. There's no reason to ever have to go through a test. You should have to go through a test to fucking breed, but they don't require that.
Yeah.
Also, if they're just going to hand out guns while you vote, I'm kind of in favor of that.
I don't think it's a gift with purchase.
Yeah.
I don't think you get. Oh, here's a lovely parting gift. Here's a Glock. And just you get to. Thanks for voting.
I watched a really, really bad movie the other night called Rough Night, maybe. Kate Middleton, the really hot girl.
No,
Johansson.
it's not Kate Middleton. It's the.
Oh yeah. It's
from SNL.
Kate
It's
McKinnon.
Kate, there
Kate
it is.
McKinnon, right.
Kate McKinnon.
Different
Hillary.
Kate.
Really bad movie. Terrifically bad movie.
Yeah.
But Kate
McKinnon.
McKinnon is playing an Australian woman in Florida where all this shit happens, and she's like, "This is just America, right? Like people are getting shot and killed, and like there's."
She has that weird Australian accent in
Yeah,
this
the
one.
only jokes that are on point is when they're making fun of Florida's
America.
gun laws and murdering. And at the end, they're like, "Well, we were told it was a good murder." In Florida, they call this one a good murder. Seriously, don't go see that movie. But that was
I have no desire
it
to
had
see
one
that movie.
funny part to it. I like them. I mean, just to watch Kate McKinnon do anything, and it turns out and it's got the oh my god, the girl from Workaholics that is in 22 Jump Street. I can never remember her name, but in another year I'll know who she is. She is just a home run. Like, and for the $5 or whatever I paid to watch that movie on demand, she was funny. Kate McKinnon's always amusing. You don't know what the hell she's gonna do next.
Who are we looking for?
She's the one of the two girls on Workaholics, and she is the roommate. And
You got a character name?
I'll find her.
I got Lauren Elizabeth, Jen McAllister.
Girl number 4.
Girl number 7. Right. I don't know.
I'll find her on
All right.
We got-
Workaholics. But honestly, she's one of those people, and we'll just do it as a little thing to someone to look for. Someone that's always going to make you laugh. Give me 2 seconds. I'm on the Workaholics page.
1,000.
Yep, see.
1,000.
Her name is Jillian Bell.
That a girl.
And she is fucking funny. 22. Did you see 22 Jump Street?
I didn't,
One
no.
of the funniest movies.
Really?
And she has a couple scenes. Actually, she has a lot of scenes now that I think about it. Because she's the little hidden gem through the whole movie. Like, they kind of hide why she's so funny. But, oh, fucking fantastic.
Well, speaking of little hidden gems.
Reclaim your time!
I enjoy segues.
A 250-meter fatberg is blocking up the sewers in London. That's right.
And
That's
it's
right.
single.
No word if it has an attorney yet. A solid mass of congealed fat, wet wipes, tissues, oil, and condoms has formed in a Victorian-era tunnel in London. It's been described as one of the largest ever seen and may take up to 3 weeks to remove.
Isn't it
from
like
the
2
sewers.
football fields long or something I read? Or no, it weighs as much as 2 buses.
So, for those of you in America who don't know anything about the metric system, 250 meters is about a yard longer than the Tower Bridge in London.
Oh.
They have comparisons. I
They have-
like that.
they have charts,
They
yeah.
have a whale. I like that.
Yep, 130 tons is nearly as heavy as a blue whale.
Wow.
Yeah,
Known a lot of
Crazy.
those.
yeah.
Or various colors. Just whales.
It's going to take them quite some time. 8 workers, 8 lucky guys,
Underground.
good on them, will
Yeah.
break up the mass with high-pressure hoses, suck up the pieces into tanks, and take it to a recycling site.
Which is this is a testament as to why you don't. Well, first of all, you're not supposed to, even in your own personal house, pour grease or oil ever down your drain.
Never, ever down the
because
drain.
the second what happens to liquid hot grease, the second it gets cold and gets in water, it congeals, cools down, becomes a solid.
Blocks it right
I
up.
call
Blocks
that
it right up.
Thanksgiving in New York.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
That's where you
right.
usually learn that lesson.
So.
Yep.
So
Plumbers are so busy on Thanksgiving. I had a whole thing about this, I think, like 2 years ago.
So reflecting back to the story that I made a comment earlier about the drains plugged in the Miami area, not that they're the same thing because these are storm drains that would have had just sediment and dirt and pop bottles and crap in there. This is what happens to a lot of the inner cities because of people putting again,
Yep.
things that were never anticipated.
And it's not
Condoms,
just it's
napkins,
not just people's
diapers.
homes. You know, they talk in this article about needing to set up an oil recycling kind of apparatus for businesses and restaurants and all of that. Like all
Right,
of that
because
fry
if
oil,
you
all
go
of
all the
that-
fry oil outside of a restaurant, there's that filthy, smelly thing that someone comes and empties
Right.
every
Once a month or so.
and it smells. In Arizona, it
Rancid.
smells terrible.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And it is a La Cucaracha
Yeah.
breeding zone.
But that
This-
they're keeping that from going down all of the drains.
yes.
Fortunately.
Oh, and the worst part is as you read it, it's not just the congealed fat, but it's wet wipes and nappies.
Yeah.
Good
Don't
people
flush
of
'em.
Earth.
Yeah.
Those things, those wet wipes that you're wiping your ass with, do not go down the
flush those
toilet.
at
Do
all.
not flush them, no matter what it says on the box.
Don't do
They're
it.
not biodegradable, and you have to live with poopy stained wet wipes until you dispose of them properly. Stop doing
Yeah.
it. Stop it.
Yeah. Just take a shower.
Gay men are
Just take a shower if it's that
Gay
bad.
men are notorious for those wet wipes.
Oh, sure.
And
Listen, they leave you fresh and clean. They feel really nice. I get it.
it's like a second date. Let's just say it.
Wow.
It's a good second date.
All clean, sir. Ready to go.
They call it a fatberg.
Yeah, Fatberg.
The Fatberg. Yep.
Horrible.
That's
I would love the only thing I would like about this job is the fact that you get an immediate satisfaction. You clear that out, and all of a sudden you've got water flow. You got everything. To me, it's akin to vacuuming. When you vacuum, you immediately you're happy. Look, it's clean.
Well,
Similar.
and they're using a vacuum truck to
Oh, no.
suck it on out of there.
Yeah.
Like,
I've researched the
that's up your
vacuum
alley.
trucks. The
They're-
big.
I used to work on one.
The big. Oh no,
Well,
we have
yeah,
to do an
totally
entire show about this. Really? One of the big
it's-
commercial
it's-
trucks?
Yeah, one of those big commercial vacuum trucks. 'Cause
When did you work that?
fire, smoke, and water restoration? There are many, many things that you can do there. We used to. So if you had, say, a kitchen fire and needed your blown-in insulation replaced, guess who got to? Because I was small at the time. Guess who got to
blow ya?
No, guess who got to crawl into your attic and vacuum out all of
The
the
old-
blown insulation because it was all like filled with smoke and had to be replaced.
Or water damage?
This guy, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh no, those vacuums thrill the shit out of me. When I drive down the street and you see that huge truck with a big tank and the guy's just like got a nozzle, or they've got the hose going down into the sewer because
Yeah.
that's what they're doing. They're cleaning out all the stuff. So it
debris.
doesn't. Oh, I just
Yeah.
think they're fascinating.
Ours was mostly dry. We did one like weird cleanup at a Nestle factory one time. That we had to like suck out a whole tank, and yeah, I've been very busy
That's
in my life.
exciting to know. We'll get back to vacuums in a moment. And meanwhile, here's Al Perkins.
Speaking of sucking, Alfred,
So, ahem, the headline says. Alex Jones now says Donald Trump is being covertly drugged.
Oh.
They drug presidents because the power structures want a puppet, he said. Unbelievable. Alex Jones, the far-right radio host who was trafficked in crackpot conspiracy theories about 9/11, Sandy Hook, and the KKK, told a woozy doozy on Monday. I'm quoting this directly.
woozy doozy.
Woozy-doozy.
Citing high-level sources and multiple people on his syndicated show, he said that the orange dumpster fire was being drugged in sodas and iced tea to the point he's slurring his words at night, and it's all part of a plot to control him.
I don't think it's working very
The
well.
sedation of the commander-in-chief started about 2 months ago, the loyalist said. At one point, Jones told his millions of listeners, I'm going to leave it at that. But he didn't. He never does.
No, he never does.
So there's a rant online where you can watch it. And just when you think this bug-eyed crazy motherfucker can't get any more bug-eyed crazy, nope, there's a new level. There's a new low. There is no bottom to this pit.
There's a man who always looks like he's having a heart attack who needs to.
Yes.
Right.
Go ahead and finish her
Well,
off.
you know what the
Don't even put him on the EKG. Just
Yeah.
watch him go.
You know what the byline of all his shit is? That supports his whole thing. He's selling supplements on the side. That's what
yeah.
supports his entire bullshit.
Oh, yeah. It's like clickbait.
Because to live through whatever tragedy he's developed that you're going to have in the country, this is what's going to get you through it. It's it's smarter water. They're polluting the water. They're doing all this stuff. He sells all this crap to all these gullible people, and it's
And
crazy.
he's not the only one. Okay, Weather Channel.
No, he's not the only one.
Yeah, Weather Channel devotee here. Hi, my name is Al.
Hi, Al.
Thanks, welcome.
He's a low pressure center.
So the commercials over the course of the 4 days I spent enjoying Irma's visit. I didn't get my period. That's not a metaphor. That's what.
Wasn't even thinking that, but thank you for the clarification.
So
It's a metaphor now.
yeah,
I'm writing
even though
this
she
down.
went to flow, not there. So they had bags sealed bags of food that you could buy that all you needed was the clean boiling water to pour in them, reseal your bag and shake, and you got yourself a meal. And they were good for, I'm not bullshitting you, 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you bought them, what do they call them in the Army? PPE? MREs. PPE is protective, anyways, personal protective equipment.
Right.
MREs.
Meals ready to eat.
So they're selling them now, but now they're selling them in like a
I have an uncle.
like a julienne vegetable. You know what I mean? Like just slightly fancier than your usual like shit on a shingle. Absolutely horrible. This commercial was so built with smiling people selling you Stepford Wives level fear.
Mm-hmm.
And the commercial was just deranged. And I was trying to find it, but then I forgot about it today. And then the other one, every third commercial was for having your lights on during the storm and selling generators. Okay, the people that needed a generator lost power about 3 days ago.
They can't watch the commercial.
So these are the people that are sitting somewhere high and dry being like, oh, I'm going to be ready.
I need it.
I mean, it really was the disaster level commercials, and they just got worse.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think we were going to get worse. Again, I'm always surprised at the new lows that we'll sink to. But the fact that they're selling 25 years worth of prepackaged food to store in your underground bunker, like there's just a level of that I'm like, okay, now I think the president's kind of an asshole, and I think we're on a very wrong path. But
I'm not quite preparing for doomsday.
25 years. Plus, who the fuck wants to live in a bunker for 25 years eating that shit?
But I mean, should the
There were
nuclear
no bagels.
holocaust happen, like, who's gonna be laughing now?
At press time, we were unsure about the bagel situation.
At press time.
Oh, fucking Alex Jones.
Hang on, I was trying to find the pictures on it because one of the things I want, and it's not has nothing.
Are we doing 3 each?
I thought so.
Oh, good. Yeah.
We get to go around the horn again.
Oh, okay. We say, oh god, the other one was fun. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's why I said that's why I said have 3 stories when I said earlier, and you were like thumbed up it.
I lost track.
We got the production notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's that.
I lost count.
No, one of the things that I want.
One.
It's right.
2. What?
Well, I
Doesn't
delete
matter.
them as I go, so I don't know how many I deleted.
Oh, that's good to know.
That makes sense.
One of the things that I've always wanted to have on the house, though I don't have to worry about hurricane too much, I've always wanted the generator for the entire house. I've always wanted one. Ooh. Only because you never know when the power is going to go out. I want to be that person who is the only one on the block that all of a sudden everybody loses it, and I'm like, oh, I'm good. I got AC, and so. But for like $5,000, this is automatically comes up, does all your shit, runs.
But then that thing runs on something. So day 3
Gasoline.
of like every kid playing their video games at home, you're out of gas. Like then you also have to have the 25 years of gasoline to keep that thing going.
They would be diesel. Diesel doesn't go bad like that.
Well, whatever the fuck. But you still have to have 25 years of it stored somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
25 years. I mean, they're going to have their power back in a month or two.
I know, but and I always thought those kind of things were just for crazy people. Like I was like, oh, those are those people that nobody wants to talk to. But after there was the year before Sandy, there was another storm whose name I don't remember, but they had a big storm. A big snowstorm event that went on the year before Sandy back in the East Coast. And then they went through the polar vortexes and all that stuff. So some friends of mine were like, they kept having to like evacuate their little town of New Jersey and go stay in hotels because they were losing powers to down tree and frozen trees and ice storms and polar vortexes and stuff. And finally, I'm like, oh my God, did you guys have to evacuate again? Like, oh, fuck no. We bought a generator last year and stayed at home, cozy and warm.
Absolutely.
Fine, right?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
And they said because of the money they had spent on like 4 years of evacuating to hotels, because they had a young child, they had elderly parents, they couldn't stay comfortably in a home without power, they kept having to go and like stay at the hotel. And it, they were choosing nicer hotels.
Sure.
I don't think there's a Motel 6 in that little town. But it was funny, and they were like, it paid for itself. Like the first year without 5 of us in a hotel room. Plus,
I bet.
Smells kind of funky.
Yeah, too many people in a hotel room is no fun.
Yeah, you can't close two people in a small space for too long. It's like Pitch Perfect. It just smells like farts in here now.
Especially not if they're children and old people.
Yeah.
Like.
This story I chose because Kat Carlson. 7 bikini baristas and the owner of a chain of coffee stands called Hillbilly Hotties sued the city of Everett, Washington on Monday, saying 2 recently passed ordinances banning bare skin violate their right to free expression. Let's cut to a picture of free expression for Kat. There's one. There's one free expresser. And we got another one. You ready?
I'm ready.
Another expressor. There's that one. That one kind of looks like what's her name? Cyrus.
Oh, Miley Cyrus.
Kind of looks like Miley for some reason.
Kind
Anyway.
of looks like she's got wet toilet paper on her boobs. I don't know
Yeah,
what's happening
like-
there.
Well, they have to cover
Yeah.
their nips. You can't show the nips, so they have to cover them with like duct tape, not duct tape, whatever.
She's
They
wearing a
have to-
Pasties,
brassiere.
they call
Right,
them,
but you
yeah.
see the little black thing. They're covered too.
Oh.
They're covered. That's a lacy thingy.
I just thought it was a well-engineered bra to keep her
No.
Right.
nipples from chafing.
So anyway, the suit filed in U.S. District Court in Seattle says the ordinances passed by the Everett City Council deny bikini stand employees the ability to communicate through their attire. They are vague and confusing and unlawfully rules targeting women. Just like Starbucks with green aprons, UPS with brown trucks and outfits, at Hooters with short orange shorts, the barista's attire evokes a message at work, the lawsuit says, adding that such messages include freedom, empowerment, openness, acceptance, approachability, vulnerability, and individuality. One of
But you
Everett's
know that thing says no fats, no femmes, no. You
No
know what
Asians.
I mean? Yeah.
One of Everett's new laws requires the workers to wear a minimum of tank tops and shorts if specifically applies to employees at quick service restaurants, which also include fast foods and food trucks. The other refined the city's lewd conduct ordinance and created a new crime of facilitating lewd conduct. Both ordinances took effect early this very month. The city cited a, quote, proliferation of crimes of sexual nature occurring at bikini barista stands throughout the city in adopting the measures.
Okay, two things here. First of all,
Would you like cream with that?
Yeah.
no. Interestingly enough, I would prefer the people handling anything that I'm going to consume as far as food and coffee actually have clothes on.
Yeah,
It's
and a
kind of
hairnet.
Weird to me.
No matter where that hairnet has to be worn.
Yeah.
Right. A nice pair of shorts will do the same job as a hairnet there.
Yeah.
But two, then of course, if you've got naked women, then of course you clearly have to have an increase in sexual assault, and that just bothers the shit out of me. Now I'm back on board with the naked baristas because fuck you, stop assuming that just because some woman is half naked in the street or the drive-through window, that means that you can touch her. That's not a thing.
Well, she's asking for it. She dressed it.
Fucking not asking for it.
Yeah.
She asked you if you want decaf or regular.
Yeah. And I go back and forth on that because then I'm like, well, let's say it was hunky guys. But then,
Where's that coffee shop?
yeah. But then,
But you also don't have permission to touch them.
right, and that's my thought is it
Except
doesn't
in
mean you
West
can touch them,
Hollywood.
but then are they still gonna be? And even there too, because I have a friend that worked in West Hollywood on an underwear night, and he was like, "This is out of hand,"
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
and
it
he
is.
was like, "We're done. Like I'm not here to be touched. Here to serve you a drink, and I have a funny costume on, but hands to yourself." And in bars though, for some reason, it doesn't matter what level of clothing you have on when you work at a bar. People just get handsy.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, I've
They
felt that
feel-
more times than I can
Yeah,
even
and
count.
I
It's
was
just-
always like, clean white woman here. Like, seriously, none of that bullshit.
I'd like to see the pictures of when Al used to have to serve drinks on underwear night. I bet that was good. I bet you had a
No,
nice
we
little
didn't-
attire.
We didn't do that on BS West. We didn't do underwear night at BS West.
I know that. I just,
Oh, I'm like,
first, the idea of you actually ever serving drinks in just underwear is enough to just be like, Al would never do
oh,
that.
I would wear like a swimming costume from the 1920s.
No,
From
I've,
here.
But again,
I've already
it would
preempted
be,
that. The boys talk about underwear night all the time, and I'm like, I sure have the night off.
Yeah, and
Or you go ahead.
yeah,
Mama's gonna.
The other thing about that though is then you end up with that thing of like, okay, so now it's you have to look a certain way to have a job, and that's
Yeah.
where I get a little off base. Like, someone in college just needs a job and doesn't have
that body.
that
Right.
first body. Like, are
32
you gonna
double
be body-
Ds is the only thing getting you
yeah,
the job.
Yeah, like at Hooters, like, do you have to like what's the criteria to work here? Like, do you have like?
Don't even like wings.
Yeah, but I mean
No,
that's
no.
that's where it gets into
They
that
changed
weird
their menu,
place
though.
for me. Like that, the touching is always off limits.
Right.
Doesn't matter where you are. If
Doesn't
someone
matter
is
who it
work-
is.
Yeah. If no one invited you to touch them, don't touch them. That's why I don't like strippers either. Because I'm like, no, I don't want to touch you. Not for love nor money.
Can I just hand you the $1 and you just
and
touch
you
the
go
other
far
end?
away.
Yeah.
Or pick a better song so I
Why
can
do
like
I have to
that.
pay you to go away?
Never understand strip clubs. But I mean, it just leaves you in
Agreed.
that weird place till you realize, all right, then you have to look a certain way to have this job, which was always the funny thing when I went out of town and people would know me from working at a gay bar. The assumption was under the big giant T-shirt must have been a fantastic body because how do you work at a gay bar?
Oh.
Because
Right.
the expectation of somebody at a gay bar is like, you know, the muscly twink. So then I woke up, and you're like, what the fuck went wrong with this gay bar?
Grandfathered in.
Yeah. And that's why if you read my bio from
Joyce DeWitt days.
Joyce DeWitt days, it says that I left the bar at Scottsdale because I passed the age and weight limits.
Not on the same day.
Yeah. Thankfully.
One came first and then the other one. You figure out which one it was.
Go your own way. Oh my God! So the story from Germany was about of someone who was charged with farting in front of a lady police officer twice and being a huge fine, and they let him off.
Funny.
But yeah,
I don't know. You know, well, and that's how. So all of these American Republicans that are all anti-regulation, there are reasons that those regulations exist. Nobody sits around and just thinks up, like, oh, what new rules should we make today? I mean, Congress does, but they never get anything done with it. So,
yeah,
like, there are reasons that, you know, decency rules exist. There are reasons that, you know, health department and hygiene rules exist. There are reasons for all of these things.
Redundancies in a nuclear power plant, they serve a purpose.
Right.
Because
probably
when
have
an
that.
unprecedented once every 500 years flood
Happens
comes along,
twice in a week.
happens twice in a week, and you got a nuclear power plant in Florida that can supposedly hire a Category 5 hurricane direct hit, but no one's ever tested it, and you're in the anti-regulation state where they're trying to get rid of anything. Not the place. Sorry, gonna need all your nuclear regulations here today. And I think Mr. Anti-Regulation guy is gonna be eating his words when they have to rebuild bridges, homes, tunnels, infrastructure, boat docks, and you're gonna have people saying like, we're gonna need this built to some kind of code. Where's the code? Like, what's the code we're building to?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
either that or you're gonna have bridges and houses falling down on people pretty soon.
Right, and the fact that, like, you know,
which is how we got those regulations in the first place.
Right. One good earthquake in California,
Full
people
circle.
are like, how about we build this better?
For those of you wondering how we got to this topic, we started with bikinis and baristas. Now we're moving on to Kat Carlson.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah, you got one more. He got one more.
Two.
American history today, September the 12th.
It is today.
American history was forever changed on September 11th, 2001, when thousands of people lost their lives at the hands of terrorists. But there's a lesser known and really nerdy change that was also initiated that day, a change in the English language, and one that has caught the attention of linguists, parenthetically nerds, and shaped the way that we talk about terrorist attacks. The innovation is the simple term 9/11, which we all use as shorthand, and we all understand to mean that day and all of the horrible things that happened on September 11th, 2001. Like, we don't even have to say the year. We don't have to say anything. We all just know 9/11.
Like, you can say the war. Everybody refers back to it's World War II.
Right. Now, just saying 9/11 might not even seem that very special at first glance, but it, number one, defies the way that Americans typically refer to calendar dates. Like, our Independence Day is July 4th or the 4th of July. It's not 7/4. Yeah, it also defies how we typically talk about disasters. We remember Pearl Harbor or, you know, World War II, but not necessarily 12/7.
Or D-Day or anything like that.
Right. And this article says the reason for this is pretty clear. The September 11th attacks took place in multiple locations, so it would be hard to come up with a single term to encompass that whole day. Like, you can't just say the World Trade Center because the people died in Pennsylvania and at the Pentagon. And all hell was breaking loose everywhere.
Sure.
And so linguists were quick to pick up on the unusual construction. The American Dialect Society, parenthetically, more nerds.
Yeah.
A group of linguists and language experts named 9/11 its 2001 word of the year for how often it was said the rest of that year. Interestingly, the term caught on worldwide, and even in countries where dates are typically written in the day-month format, they still refer to September 11th, 2001 as 9/11.
Right, because everywhere else in the world it's 11/9.
Right, it would be 11/9/01.
Yeah.
Yeah, so using that shorthand, it's a unique thing, and it caught the eye of people that study language and how we use it. And
I'm pretty sure that everybody had that moment during the course of the day and said, "Oh my God, the date is 9/11." Like, I think at some point,
100%,
everyone came to that, like, weirdness.
Right. Well, and then Alex Jones went down a rabbit hole with all kinds of conspiracy theories about it.
Yeah, But it really was one of those things where you were like, you'd see it across your screen. There'd be a timestamp. You'd be like, oh God, it's 911. Yeah. And I think that has something.
That didn't occur to me for days.
Oh, okay.
Like it was days later that
I remember that. I remember that happening and thinking that the same day, the fact that it was 9/11 was the date, and the fact that you dial 911 for an emergency, and to me that all came together. It's like these people on 9/11 will have to call 911 because of this emergency. I totally thought that.
Yeah, I don't know why that.
And then the fact that the towers make an 11 when you look at the picture, like there was all those little things that came up. But yeah, the 9/11 thing has always stuck with me. And I see it on cars, I think that.
And last night I was napping on and off, getting over my indigestion. And
burrito apocalypse.
Happened to catch this one documentary that kind of stays with me, and it's the 9/11 Hotel. And because when I went to the site pretty soon after it all happened in Building 3, I didn't know what Building 3 was. I couldn't tell from that. I didn't have any sense of like which way I was turned when I was down there. But there was a woman next to me who was like needing support from those around her, and she was telling us that she worked in that building, and she's like, what the fuck? Yeah. And she wasn't expecting it because you didn't see it on TV that the hotel that sat between the two towers got crushed by the debris. And this documentary is on there. And then, I saw the documentary a few years ago, and I was like, oh, fuck, that's what I was looking at. That was the Marriott. Like, I never even put that together because it just didn't look like anything.
Right.
I didn't even recognize that it had been a building. Like, it was such an odd
I was there
shape that I thought it was like
2 years late. I was there 2 years later, and they were still just hauling debris out. Like, that took a long time. But they had viewing decks set up and scaffolding as a walkway.
You could get way too close when I was. You could still get way too close. The fencing was just up. They still had huggers outside. There was very, very surreal. Yeah. So to see that documentary, and now to know that Pete Davidson on Saturday Night Live, his father died in the Marriott. That was the last place that he was seen, and his whole story revolves around that hotel. So as I was watching it, I was wondering if they would show a picture, because they had pictures that were taken outside, if there was any pictures like there are of, some people see their family members running to or from a building and are comforted that they saw their family member doing something brave as the last thing that they saw. So I was just curious if somewhere in that documentary they mentioned his father, or you saw a photo of him, I don't know, just one of those things that little story. It's a little hour-long documentary on YouTube called 9/11 Hotel that's just very interesting. And there's a typical New Yorker in it who, so funny, is like, well, that fire's in another building. I'm just going to get my stuff together. And then it's like, well, maybe I should evacuate. I wonder if there's any bellboys to help me with this.
I think I've seen that.
On fire around him.
I saw the same one.
And he's got the New York accent. And he's like, I thought maybe a bellboy should come up and help me. I don't know what's going on. And then I thought, all right, I got to go. But I'm going to pack up my bags because I got a trial. And like all the different things.
Yeah, I saw the same one.
I don't want to get involved.
And I think in the same one, there was a lady or somebody else was like, we were looking out the window, but we couldn't see up, so we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
She's like, we just looked up, everything looked fine on the what we could see, but we couldn't tell directly above us all the hell was going to break loose.
Yeah, because it's literally in the sky.
Right.
You can't.
Hundreds of floors above you.
The windows are in the wrong place. But it's one of those things where it wasn't funny, but you just find that humor in. He is such a New Yorker of like, I am not getting involved in this melee.
Right. I was surprised he didn't have a little bit of Yiddish in there, just kind of flung in.
He kind of did, and he says afterwards, he's like, I just realized I had to change my whole outlook on life. And you can tell he's like, the fact that I was looking for a bellhop as people were dying just says something about like, I'm at the Marriott. What do you got for me? But and I didn't want to get too bogged down in that stuff yesterday. So, but I
didn't either. I kind of avoided a lot of.
And you kind of look for any
TV
new. There was some new forensic stuff that was interesting, and I watched some of the reading of the names in the morning, so I was having some trouble sleeping. And after a while, just first, it's so sad.
So much.
The ringing of the bell, the moment of silence, the reading of the names,
and the fact that apparently our president talked through the moment of silence.
I can't even.
Oh, I missed that from yesterday.
The other thing that has now started to hit, and it breaks my heart, and I had to turn off the TV. I'm like, I can't do this. Is the people that weren't born yet, like their mothers were pregnant with them, and they're like 17 years old. And like the one person got up and read a name that I remember reading a name as like a 3 or 4 year old, like standing there with his mother, and now he's like a grown ass 20-year-old holding his, and he said the name, and I was like, it was just a name and a face. I remembered that name.
Yeah.
It's early in the alphabet, and I was like, no, like that's like when you think about how much time has passed and like that these people have just, or you know, the one guy was a little kid and now he's on SNL, the youngest person ever on SNL. So that, you know, that helps the story out too, that he's the youngest cast member ever. But just it's just strange that the world just goes on.
Yeah.
That it does.
Yeah.
Next caller.
So it's your deal.
Oh, so the last
you
segue
get to talk more, Al.
On a lighter note,
please.
Ted Cruz.
Oh.
In case you were wondering who America likes less than Trump.
Yeah.
This guy.
Ted Cruz.
Do tell us the story.
He has a little problem with his Twitter account. So, Texas Senator Ted Cruz told reporters Tuesday it was a staffing issue that led to a pornographic video being liked by his Twitter account, which has since been removed. It was a mistake. It was not a deliberate action, Cruz said. He added, we're dealing with it internally, but it was a mistake. It was not malicious conduct. You were watching a porn, buddy. There's nothing malicious there.
And your finger got a little twitchy, and you were like.
His one hand was busy.
you can with one hand.
While the other hand's clapping. An aide to Cruz confirmed the comments to CNN, adding that there would be an internal effort to figure out who was responsible. Well, check the hand towels.
How many people have access to your Twitter?
Cruz declined to comment.
Bad.
Yeah,
that sounds
well,
bad.
you know, however, like a national politician like Ted Cruz probably has a couple of people that do have access to his Twitter,
because they're not all.
It's an official like communication. So
no, I get that, but 500 people don't have it, so you could probably whittle this down to the
one
4
hand.
people, the 5 people who probably have access. I mean, line them up and ask.
Right.
You can watch an Asian porn or whatever the hell. I don't even know what it was.
First of all, incognito mode, people. Listen, look in your browser for it.
You can have more than one Twitter account, Ted. The other funny thing to me was when you think about this, there's probably some sort of a software that does it automatically. Was it just happenstance that somebody was scrolling through their own Twitter feed that follows that asshole and just happened to see that he liked it and just screenshot it? Or do they have a software set up that every time Ted likes something, they get here's what he liked, here's what he liked.
A couple of things on that. Number one, yes, your Twitter feed does just show you articles, and it says at the top, like, so-and-so liked this.
Oh, no, right. I see that myself.
Yeah, you see that yourself. You can also go to somebody's Twitter. We'll see Clayton McKee. Oops.
You're gonna get some sort of.
We're gonna go to Clayton
live,
McKee.
well, I can tweet from here.
Well, but what I can do is I can go to your main page and I can go to likes and I can see the different things that you have liked.
Oh, that's true. You can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you liked something from Tyler Kinney.
I do enjoy Tyler Kinney.
A news outfit out of Florida.
What else have I done? Do tell.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. You like to tweet from him.
Yeah, I do enjoy him.
You like to tweet from David Hernandez.
Yeah, friends, David. Sure.
Yeah. Sarah Silverman. Like it just
okay.
Anything that you hit that hard on, it lists it on your Twitter feed.
Oh, when you hit that hard on, that's an instant like.
I try so hard to avoid the dick jokes. Damn it.
That was an unintended indiscretion.
Nothing says like a hard
on. Yeah. Or your lady hard on.
But
hearts. Damn it.
Hearts.
Enunciation is so important.
I got so mad at the Pod Save America guys for a dick joke today.
Oh.
And then you're in the middle of it.
And then there I am.
And now it's looking you right in it's looking you right in the face.
And you can still see the words in the bubble above her head. Yeah. The star of, the runner up, I don't know how this woman is associated with the porn site, but she said she was mostly disappointed that he didn't pay for the porn. And I'm like, there's a woman with her finger on the pulse of the priorities.
We enjoy her the most.
So the best part is Ted
Amina,
Cruz.
what's a tweet mashup, Amina? We'll have to find out for her.
Yeah. So the best part is he refused comment from CNN.
Really? Did they just catch him in the halls running through from one meeting to another? Sir, can we talk about your hard on?
Please consult Anthony Weiner.
Oh, yes, please have a meeting with him.
Whatever he said, I'm sure is appropriate here.
Yes, figure it out. How did he get out of it? Oh, he got a divorce. Okay, well, we'll get right back to you, Ted. Lion Ted. God, I'm glad he's still around.
Lion Ted.
Fucking worthless bastard. My God. That's a tweet. Oh, she has a link now to Tweet Mashup. I
didn't get it. I tried.
I can't.
It's for some reason you put two tweets together to get something else. Maybe it's funny. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It's like Mad Libs.
That's what I was wondering too.
I have to figure out. I don't know. I have to figure all this stuff out.
I'm gonna explore more at home before my early bedtime.
Oh, I see. So the link that Amina put in the chat room, it's take two Twitter accounts and they're gonna blend two different tweets from them. So, for example, the BBC News and Elmo put them together, and you get Australia's Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce says he is very silly! ! Hashtag Friendship Friday.
Okay.
It's cute. I get it. It's cute. I like it. Thank you, Amina.
I thought I had to do the work.
No. You just click the go. I mean, you can.
God forbid.
I make the matches, and then they make the humor.
And they make the funny. Yeah.
I decide what two things should not go together. One of these things is not like the other.
Right.
It just isn't the same.
Yeah. Cher and Scott Baio might be magic. Could be magic. It could be magic on the Tweet Mash.
Yeah, that
is that what they call it?
It could be
the kids
magic.
are calling it?
I would nominate that first.
Tweet Mash.
Cher and Scott Baio.
Mashed potatoes.
Oh, golly.
and I know I've said this like 15 times.
Oh, say it again.
Possibly more. If you're not following the Stephen King, the real Stephen King, not Steve King, the racist.
No. Don't follow him.
Stephen.
But Stephen King, the author, is just a hoot and a holler on the Twitter.
Okay.
He's got a lot to say.
He's got a lot to say.
I don't remember if I'm following him or not.
He hates the orange dumpster fire.
Who
and
doesn't?
Seriously, he's one of my favorite people to follow. Like, I just scroll through and watch him go to town.
Well, all right. Well, now you're going to scroll through some other stuff and do this. How about this?
I'm going to go off on a really nerdy rant about it, so get yourself ready.
Hooray!
We had the Schmemmies this weekend. I have a recommendation that I can only half recommend. I've only half watched from the Netflix.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Let me look at my other screen and see what I forgot.
You've only got 10 seconds to do this, so you're going to probably just...
Oh, news about Veep. I forgot all my news stories that were in there. All kinds of stuff.
Oh, very exciting. We'll be back with Al Perkins and his entertainment right after this. It's Q Talk America. Stay with us, won't you?
Oh, no, I did do that.
You're listening to Q Talk America. This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
Well, Alan's finally broken into the bag of gummy bears at the beginning of hour 3.
Do we need a bowl, or are we just gonna paw them out?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's the hour 3 on Q Talk America. It's show 316. This is the 12th day of September 2017. You're in Studio C with Kat Carlson. Al Perkins is here. Marnie Ryer has the night off. Actually, maybe also next week, depending on how she's feeling. She's been told she cannot drive, which I'm sure is going to just drive her crazy. But I told her I'd go get her if I had to. If you're just joining us, you've missed some headline stuff. We talked about what we've been doing. In this hour, we've got entertainment and 2 things, also potentially thoughtful vulgarity. A lot going on right here. But for right now, it's Al Perkins and entertainment right here on Q Talk America. Take it away, Al Perkins.
All right, exciting news from entertainment. I didn't scream it because I was so overjoyed that we made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich out of a grape, gummy bear, and an actual peanut.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm having a cashew butter sandwich.
Oh.
Same song.
I'm just here to tell you, when I'm on death row, it's what I'm asking for my last meal.
Okay.
It's pretty fucking tasty.
Smart.
Maybe a bagel kicker. So, we learned they give it, they take it away, the HBO.
Oh.
So we have learned in the last few days that Veep will end after next season, that the creative forces, just like Mary Tyler Moore and other people that have broken my heart, have decided stories played out, we want to go out on top, and they're going to end after next season. They feel like, however they're going to wind this up, because she was running for president again at the end of this season, and I almost wiped away a tear. I'm like, I just wait for those 8 weeks every spring of just kicking my feet laughing and realizing I missed 3/4 of the jokes because I was laughing too hard. And I'm like, I can't even keep up with this shit. So next season is the last season. I think that would make it season 7. It's sad, but it's good when they get their own control and they can end it the way they want to. You know, they're not. HBO said they would legitimately run it until the end of time.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
I'm hoping for now Timothy Simmons, I'm not quite sure how you say his last name, who plays the tall guy whose name I can't think of his character's name.
But you watch it all the time.
Jonah, the Cloud Botherer. Which is perhaps one of my favorite jokes that's ever been said on anywhere when they called him the Cloud Botherer. That him and Richard. But Richard Starr is taking off. Like the guy that plays Richard is on like 5 different shows right now.
Oh my God, he's so busy.
Everywhere because it's like everybody found out how funny he was, and they're all employing it. It's kind of like that What's Her Face from Workaholics that everybody got the memo of like, okay, while these assholes are telling fart jokes, the girl over here is really fucking funny. So I because Timothy Simmons. Actually is your friend on Facebook when you Facebook friends him, and he sometimes has live things and answers questions and will thank you for complimenting a performance, or like will answer a question like, what are you up to? Where can I find you? So he's very interactive with the social media and a lot of fun. And so I had to tell him that just get with your agent, get with HBO and because he's a US, he's in the House of Representatives.
Oh my
now
God, get a spinoff
with Speck. Richard Speck, is that his name, as his assistant? And I'm like, just make that happen. All the giggles will be there. So there's that. And then the good news, how they placated me, was that Last Week Tonight was renewed for 3 more seasons.
Oh,
so that John Oliver will always be with the Orange Dumpster Fire. You can't have one without the other.
Good. We need him.
And I have to say, there is that point where like Samantha Bee seemed like she crossed over into like an absolute crazy place and needed a month off to just
calm down,
get your head together.
Yeah.
You know, your husband went through the same thing, or boyfriend, I'm sorry. Your betrothed, she kind of lost her mind for a few minutes, and I had to be like, all right, Rachel, you got to go and sit down and take some deep breaths. And
Samantha.
Do not malign the Maddow.
You said Rachel.
Yeah, Maddow. I'm talking about both.
Oh, okay.
Samantha Bee did it, and then your boyfriend Rachel.
I thought you meant Samantha's actual boyfriend. I'm like, who's she dating?
Oh, no. So
I got lost in the
I have to say,
too.
In the shuffle.
John Oliver this last week, like I was like,
I haven't watched yet.
You gotta just take a minute, take a second.
Really?
Yeah, like a couple of the jokes just were
not quite there.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you haven't had an off
Comedy's hard, people. Like,
Yeah.
people don't understand.
We've been
Comedy's hard.
Tell me about it. We've been trying to get
For
this
real?
off.
We've been
I'm working
trying to
up a
do
sweat.
comedy for
God
years.
damn.
But it's exciting for 3 more seasons because, I mean, to have one show where I was like, ooh, that's a little off. He's been on for a couple years now, and we'll probably clean up next week this Sunday at the Emmys, so look for that. Fun little movie on Netflix. It's Evangeline Lilly, my girl crush from Lost, and Adam Scott from Parks and Recreation, in a horror comedy that's, I don't know. Like I said, I'm only halfway through. I don't know if this movie ever gets scary, but god damn is it funny watching people being in a horror movie that's a comedy. And just the fact that they're watching the wedding video where you don't know why they don't want to watch it, but a tornado hits. And then they're like, because they're like, the priest is speaking backwards. And he's like, why were you watching my wedding video backwards? He's like, isn't the big question, why is the priest speaking backwards about guarding her son? He's like, yeah, that's weird too. Like, the comedy is just slightly off in how she explains the pregnancy to him in bed while giving him a massage is just golden. It's just so fucked up.
And the name of the movie is?
Little Evil. Have I not said that yet? It's called Little Evil on Netflix. And like I said, I'm about halfway, 3/4 of the way through, and it was one of the movies that I had to keep pausing and be like, I'm gonna need that joke again. That was just really well told. And I'm glad that Evangeline Lilly has a job, because she's one of those people that I just have the hugest crush on. She's so lovely, and she loves to climb trees. Make her climb trees. Find a way to put it in the plot.
I'm in.
Well, on Lost, she was always climbing trees, because anytime they were only filming in little spaces, they had to make like they're in a big island, but they were like 1 block from the road. So she would always like climb a tree or something. Like, I guess we're filming this scene in a tree. Evangeline Lilly's here again. So I always thought that was fun.
We're glad you did.
Yeah. Let's go back over this. There's so many pages today. There's so much
All
pressure.
Of the pages.
So the Schmemmies were on, which, in case you don't follow Kathy Griffin, the Schmemmies are the technical arts Emmys where she won a couple, and she kind of made fun of them. I think it was kind of a preemptive strike in case she lost. She wanted to be ready. And they give away a lot of the fun awards that I enjoy at the Schmemmies. The little stuff like makeup and directing and host of a reality show and all that kind of stuff gets given away. So I'm just going to read you off a couple of fun things. The big ones are always guest actor in a drama series and guest actress, and that was Gerald McRaney as the doctor in This Is Us with all the feels, which was a big win for Delta Burke's
Gerald
husband.
McRaney. I haven't thought about him in a while.
Well, he's on This Is Us, and he's terrific. And he won for best.
Still
guest.
married to Delta?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Happily, I think they got remarried like 5 times. They one of those people that renews their vows every 10 minutes.
Every time her weight goes
Didn't
up and down.
go real well for Heidi and Seal.
Right. No. Right.
Yeah. Guest actress in a drama series was Alexis Bledel for The Handmaid's Tale.
I did see that Rory got her Emmy.
And I can't remember where the crazy lady that is in charge of the girls is nominated, and she was the best part of the leftovers too. I can't remember if she lost in this category or if she's in the big supporting actress category. I can't remember where they left her. So hopefully if she is, she's really good. Great character actress who was on like 17. She's one of those people like Beth Grant is one of them that I've been watching for years because she's on every other TV show. And then the other one I can't remember. Oh, Margot Martingale that Buddy and I obsess over because she's on every TV show. And she finally won her Emmy. And then Dave Chappelle won Guest Actor in a Comedy Series for hosting the Saturday Night Live after the election. And that terrific monologue and that really solid take a long look at yourselves, America, opening 2 or 3 sketches was really quite good. Guest actress in a comedy series, which we were all cheering for, was Melissa McCarthy for Saturday Night Live because she hosted the you have to be in less than half of the episodes to be guest actress, and they went with her hosting one where she rode the thing around the city because what's his face Alec Baldwin is actually in the supporting actor because he opened almost every show, so he couldn't be a guest performer since he was in almost all 22 episodes. So that was kind of fun. Jane Lynch was in some short form comedy or drama series called Dropping the Soap, and she won another Emmy in a different category.
Wow.
So let's just go through for a couple others. It's going to take me a while to read it, but we'll get there because there's some really fun shit in here. original main title, theme music, Stranger Things, which we'll get to in a minute in my very long dissertation on it. But that title music, that throwback to that 80s fantasticness that is like finger on the pulse of the 80s, one. And I was kind of like losing sleep. I tried to listen live the day of the Shmemmies, and I fell asleep like 2 seconds in because they were doing it as a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I literally lasted 2 seconds during a radio award show.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't want to get them wrong. So I'm sorry, this is going to take me just a minute. If you can find callingjohnmalkovich.com for Squarespace, that won the Emmy for commercial. That was a fun commercial from last year. I felt like it was way older than that, though. Hairstyling for a limited series or movie, Feud, Betty and Joan, which
nice.
I thought was very good. Music supervision.
I was ready for that.
Big Little Lies for music supervision for that last episode that I have now watched, I think 9 times. I am so obsessed with that episode of TV. I just have to own it.
It's a good one.
It is just, it's so haunting. And the costumes of Audrey Hepburn are to die for. To die for. Prosthetic makeup for a series. That was not the one I was going for, but that was American Horror Story Roanoke. Sorry, it's going to take me just thing. Main title design, Stranger Things, which I love. Costumes, a contemporary costume, and this is the one that I called this on the night of that episode that I watched it the first time. Big Little Lies won for the episode You Get What You Need, where they're all those Audrey Hepburn costumes, just how spectacular each of those women looked. Like that was money. That was like lady porn for me. Like I was,
oh my God.
Because they give you hints as you watch the opening.
I told you he was holding my hand.
Yeah, the opening credits of Big Little Lies, it's hard to, you don't really get what they're going for. Like there's a dance that you don't understand, and then they show
because they're just kind of like faces
facing
the camera,
fading in and out, and then when you see the episode
like a conga line just going past you.
Why the kids are there, but that payoff, even though they keep hinting at this costume party that's coming, it still doesn't click till you see it all at once, and you're like, oh, god damn, that's good. And Reese Witherspoon has never looked better. Like, that was a real lady boner for that one. Makeup for a limited series, non-prosthetic, was Feud, Betty and Joan, which I thought was really well done. That's what they played when they won. Oh, damn it. I gotta go here, I guess. So, fuck, it's not here. But RuPaul won again.
Yes.
For host of...
Drag Race.
Drag Race. And then the costume designers won for the episode with Lady Gaga for the costumes they designed specifically for Ru and Lady Gaga. And it was a lovely moment. If you can find it online, it's one of the ones that they actually did. And I think it's when he's backstage and he's like, I have a fucking Emmy. You know what I mean? Like, I work on a drag show and somebody just handed me an Emmy award.
They've won before. I mean, this may be for the costume. But they've won for the series before. But again, you're right. He's like, it's a drag show.
And and it's not for the costumes that the drag queens wore. It's for whatever. And I don't watch that show. So
His producers did for him, right?
Yeah, it's what they did for the two of them for the episode that I guess was Emmy that they actually were put into consideration. I don't think they'd even tried that before.
Let me look for a picture of it.
I feel like I should know, but I don't.
So now we have, because the best original song. I gotta look this up. I was hoping it was gonna be Tap That Ass from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, but that did not win. It was very sad. But Common now is on his way to being an EGOT because he won Best Original Song for the documentary 13, or 13th, and Letter to the Free. So, I mean, an important song, and that, it was a good song. I did enjoy it. I just thought Tap That Ass would be a fun thing to have to say out loud like 14 times during the Emmys. And for original choreography, Travis Wall from So You Think You Can Dance, for that, I desperately wanted to resist it last year. The mirror one with the little kid when they were dancing with children last year, and they did that mirror dance that was so good. He won for that. But then Mandy Moore, who and her Twitter handle is Nope Other One, because everyone thinks she's the other Mandy Moore, the actress. So whenever everyone hears that Mandy Moore choreographed La La Land, they're like,
Mandy Moore.
And they're
nope,
nope,
the other one. That's funny.
She's so used to everyone thinking that. But her Emmy, they tied, and her Emmy was for an episode of Dancing with the Stars. So anytime that So You Think You Can Dance gets attention because of my absolute love for Kat Deely and the fact that I know that we would be the very best of friends if she would just have me over. And
Sure.
Did you send her a letter?
in my dream, I should friend her on Facebook and see how that goes.
See how that works
out. But last night watching the So You Think You Can Dance, next week's the finale, but this was the final performance where you can vote. Sobbing. They picked the people to go that I picked to go, and I was crying like a little bitch. Like, I love that fucking show. It's so good. So that was the end of that. So now we get to, let me make sure there's nothing else. So, It came out, and I wasted a weekend on It.
You wasted a weekend?
Yes, because I
had this queued up to play for you, but I wasn't sure if we were going to need it.
At any time.
Or did we need this?
Oh, no, neither one's
neither
appropriate.
one. Okay, all right.
The movie.
Do you have anything more suspenseful?
Yeah, the movie of It, very, very good.
Oh, how about this?
Because
it was election music. That was pretty fucking suspenseful last November.
Wow.
And I was kind of wanting to see it, but then I was worried about the hype, and then I was worried about, like, how do I react to one of my favorite books of all time being turned into a movie? I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean?
You're kind of that guy.
That guy, yeah, sometimes. Terrific
in
movie.
the best possible way.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely terrific movie. If it's a fear of clowns that's keeping you from see it, the clown has some scary moments. We're not gonna get out of that. There is one scene that clown phobes really should just go to the bathroom. It doesn't get you a lot of places in the plot, but oh dear sweet Jesus, that's if you didn't have a clown phobia, you will after. There's one scene where he walks into a room full of clowns with a clown stalking him, and then a clown on full attack mode, and then the clown comes out of a coffin, and it just it was a horror movie.
I mean,
it sounds clantastic.
But I have to tell you that
not
mostly,
clown. Slip.
Mostly, it's a very funny movie. Like, they really get that part of it right.
You said it was written from the kids' aspects.
Yeah,
they kept it that way, you said.
And that's the whole part of my whole boring spiel. But
sorry.
Oh no! But it really is written. The first part, the book is melded together with because it comes back every 27 years to terrorize the town of Derry.
Oh, okay.
So as children, they think they defeat it, but then it turns out 27 years later, it comes back, and they're called back they come back to the town to try
a cicada.
Yeah, no,
it is like a cicada.
And that's exactly the metaphor that they use in the book and the movie as to, like, maybe it's one of those things like cicadas that comes back.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting thing. So mostly in the movie, I was laughing. Couple of jumps, one really terrific jump that I was like, all right, that was well earned.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't the usual close the refrigerator, scary person's behind the door that's in, like, every fucking movie. Right. This was a terrific scene. They handled the child abuse part of it very thoughtfully, and I really thought they got that spot on perfect. Because the book has some weird shit in it. Weird sexual shit that is not required.
Right.
I never got where he was going in the book with all that sex shit. But they handled it really well. The relationship between the four main kids, the kid from Stranger Things is in it.
Mm-hmm.
He is terrific. So funny. So then it's just a really well done movie, and it broke like every box office record. Biggest September opening ever, biggest fall movie ever, like one of the highest grossing R-rated movies openings of all time. It's already the 5th highest grossing R-rated movie of all time in 3 days.
Because now we're paying $35 a ticket. Now,
right.
Did we adjust this for inflation?
That chart also exists. Adjusted for inflation, there is absolutely no one that will ever match The Exorcist. Still 43 or 44 years later.
And I'm fine if I never see it.
Oh, that's a terrific movie. And you're not religious, so it won't scare you. If you're not religious, that movie's not scary. Like, you have to have some belief.
Oh.
You know what I mean? If you don't believe in
if
you don't believe in God, then the things that they're doing in that movie won't make you upset. It's the more religious you are, the more what they're doing to the religion is what makes it horrifying. Which is why as a child I'm like, that's not scary, and then the more I knew about religion, I'm like, fuck me, that's off. So, and the point is like the guys that did Stranger Things they threw their hat in the ring. They wanted to take it. When they knew that it was a project in development, they campaigned to do it, but no one had heard of them. There was nothing behind them. They had no resume. So they got turned down. And then, of course, they went off and wrote Stranger Things, where the entire DNA of Stranger Things is it.
Right.
Like, if it wasn't written, Stranger Things, it's such a blatant homage.
Okay.
To it, with the one girl, somebody's missing, the parent, the whole 80s theme of like the parents that don't quite hear anything or see anything, the ineffective father. In this one, all the adults don't see it. They can't see it, and like things happen in front of adults because the adults don't believe. They just don't look at scary stuff. They ignore it, so they're missing the horrors that are all around them. And like the thing about Barb being missing in Stranger Things, and the fact that why is no one reacting to Barb? Like a character, there's a girl missing from this high school, and everyone mentions
noticing.
it.
Right.
And in this one, there's a girl missing that they talk about, and then someone just sticks a new missing poster on top of that missing poster, and you just get that feeling of like, is that what we do? Like, do we just go on to the next missing person, the next story? So it's kind of good.
Get a new milk carton.
But honestly, and then so I watched it. Then I went and saw it a second time at the movies, just like do a little more deeper analysis, and it really doesn't need it. It held up pretty good. And then I watched Spike TV happened to be playing the miniseries All at Once, or it was a two-part movie on TV. So I was like, well, I'll watch a little bit of this and see if it sucks as bad as I thought it did. It really didn't. It was actually kind of terrific. There was like one or two hokey special effects, but they stuck much closer to the book than this movie did. They included some stuff. They didn't have the swearing. It wasn't as funny. Like, you didn't believe the kids as much as you do in this new movie. Because you can tell that before they made this movie, they really watched Stand By Me. They watched Goonies. They watched Gremlins. Like, these kids would not be staying together if they weren't having a good time as well as being terrorized.
Right.
Like, they're staying together because it seems to help them, but they're also staying together because they really like each other, and they're a fun group of kids that you kind of like, I know there's a clown chasing you, but you seem like you might be fun. Aside from that clown business, you're all having a terrific summer.
This sums up my squad perfectly.
Yeah.
Pick better friends, would you?
No, just pick better people to chase you. And the bullying aspect of it, which I forgot until this weekend when I watched it all again, I forgot how mean-spirited the bullying is in the movie. And they got that so right in the miniseries, and they got it really right in this one. Where, like, there's something so dark about the town that even the co-bullies are like, no, that's too much. Like, even there's one guy that's clearly crazy, but his compatriots in every version, I'm like, no, there's bullying, and then that's just psychotic. And, like, even the friends know. So it's a weird, like, little teenage movie about all the things that scare you, and that it is always the shape of whatever you're afraid of. So it's only a clown to people who are afraid of clowns. Everyone else sees something
It could be a dustbuster to somebody else. It could be anything else.
Oh, the dustbuster.
I'm terrified of... Right, yeah.
But
low-powered,
Joe,
ineffective.
going back to your Exorcist thing, Joe in the chat room types, my parents forced me to watch The Exorcist at 13 or 14 to scare me into further believing in Catholicism. And he had nightmares for months. Now, again, going back to your religious thing, I just thought that was an interesting comment. Again, I've never seen it. I know the gist of the movie, but I just have no desire to see it. But I'd never heard that from anybody else. From anybody's comments. But that's interesting.
And just a terrific piece of filmmaking. I mean, that is a fantastic piece of filmmaking. Like, that's one of those movies that you should see before you die, because that genre, like, they got that right, and then they just needed to stop making those kind of movies because they just get that spot on. And the little trick in that movie that when they did the remaster is they get you to listen, because you can hear when she's walking, because it's all done on location. There's not many studio shots. So she's walking through Georgetown with the leaves, and you hear the rustle of the leaves, and then you hear like water in the kitchen. You hear little sounds that you would hear in your house, because later when you need to hear the demon speak and you need to be tuned in, they've got you tuned in to all these like little noises. So then you're as scared as she is, because they've just got you like listening for background noises, and it's a neat little fucking trick to scare you.
That is a good trick.
Yeah. So that all of a sudden something outside your house is, Mother's in here! Wait.
Suddenly you're sitting on your coffee table and all of the lights are on.
Exactly. There's some fun Easter eggs.
Because your
in the movie,
generator
though.
kicked on and you're the only house in the fucking block with lights.
So
But the floodlights are on, bitches.
I'm not gonna spoil anything because the book's been out for 27 years. It's a clown.
Yeah.
But a nice little homage to Halloween, where in the one scene they're walking down a green tree-lined street in the middle of summer, and the leaves go by. Which in Halloween, it's clearly filmed in California. It's clearly filmed around palm trees, but they need it to be fall, so they just got leaves and dumped them down the street
In front of a fan. Right.
So there's that funny scene. There's a scene in the library. If you go see it, watch for the lady in the library over Ben's shoulder. And the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, that just gave me the goosebumps. And the guy I saw it with was like, I didn't notice that. And then I watched it the second time, see if I was making it up. I'm like, oh no, that fucking shit's weird. I'm never going in a library again. And it's not part of the focus. Like, you really had to watch. There's just some weird shit. But there's little tributes to Christine in there. There's tributes to The Shining in there. There's little nods to like the whole Stephen King universe.
Oh.
It's a little tip of the hat to Goonies. Like, there's a little. Everybody's aware of where we're playing. Like, everybody's having fun in Stephen King town. So it was kind of fun as an adult who's been reading Stephen King since like 8 or 9 years old, just to have them get a movie and just play the shit out of it and have that fun, and that all these people stole from Stephen King. Oh, we'd never have the X-Files. That's the other thing, the nerdy part of me. You would never have a horror movie on TV that was serialized if you hadn't had It, the miniseries, be such a giant hit. Because you can see actual scenes from the X-Files that they just ripped right off of It. Like, so that TV movie was better than I thought, because I'm like, oh shit, I can't claim I like the X-Files when they're clearly ripping that off scene for scene from the miniseries. So it was some cute stuff. Good stuff. And really funny.
Yeah.
Like, I laughed out loud more than I really want to admit. And, like, in Molly Ringwald jokes, like, they get it all in there.
Oh.
Like, they are clearly in the 80s. Know they're in the 80s. Like, the movie posters change, what movies are playing, and that makes it funny. So you know you're in 1989, and, like, where would they get that language from? Well, they probably just saw Lethal Weapon 2, where they fuck you in the drive-thru. You know what I mean? Like,
I forget about that.
Yeah, like the callbacks to everything you're seeing. There's a blood scene from Nightmare on Elm Street, and of course they go into the Nightmare on Elm Street 5, which you're like, was there a Nightmare? You know what I mean? Everybody laughed as they wrote under that sign, because you're like, I don't know, was there a Nightmare on Elm Street 5? Is that a joke, or is that a real? Did that really come out that year? Like, who kept track of Nightmare on Elm Streets past that far? But these kids would have.
Right.
So it was cute. Well done. Well done. A weekend well spent.
Good.
So there you go.
I'll never see it.
So well done and done. Is that what is that your rap? I never know what his outro is. Is that your rap of that?
Yes. Yep.
Well, here we go. Two things is what she brings. Two things is what she's talking about. Two things, important little things. That is what she's spouting out.
You just need 2 things.
That means 2 things.
Let's get 2 things clear.
And then 2 things about yourself.
And I've come to share with you one of 2 things. No, 2 of 2 things. We're sharing 2 things right now.
There are only 2 things I can't stand in this world.
Quick, grab 2 things you love.
It can be 2 things.
Only 2 things in the world I'm scared of.
Rise of frazzing 2 things.
Remember 2 things.
I believe in 2 things.
Guys are only after 2 things.
What's better, doing 2 things at once or just one?
Never half-ass 2 things. Whole-ass 1 thing.
Cat Carlson, boys and girls.
2 things I love this week. Vodka and Lovato. I know, you can't go wrong. So the first subject, this is not in any way an endorsement of the product. This is just information that it's happening, as I have not sampled this product. However, there's a new vodka in town. Ask for it by name.
Okay.
Equality Vodka has launched in Southern California to help progress the rights of LGBTQ RSTW communities.
MOUC.
That's how I'm going to say it from now on.
Sure.
LGBT MOUSC.
Well, gays run Disney anyway, so you might as well.
Fuck yeah, they do. They're everywhere.
So what is our new gay vodka?
Well, Equality Vodka, ask for it by name, is making its way into bars, restaurants, and liquor stores in support of the LGBT community. Recently launched at an event at the LGBT Center in Los Angeles with appearances by RuPaul alumni Katya and is it Gia Gunn?
Yes.
Anyway, and other drag queens. Equality Vodka has pledged to donate a portion of their profits from every bottle sold in California to the Los Angeles LGBT Center to help fund programs and services provided to the community.
We drink enough of this shit. Again, it's like the ape that took its own picture.
An ultra premium vodka
Eventually donate to my habitat.
is committed to providing funds to organizations that help move the equality needle forward. It's a ultra premium vodka with a simple agenda: equality for all.
In fact, here is their logo.
Ta-da!
Yay!
From their website. Maybe I lost their
Watch, it'll
website.
be whipped cream flavored or some
There it is.
bullshit.
Oh, that would suck.
This is a prettier picture of them too. So there's that. So maybe we can
That's
get them
a
as a.
nice
Wonder who the distributor is going to be here in town. We can get it for our show.
Well, they say on their website, as a new brand, they're not yet available everywhere, and while they would like to be, they need our support. Ask for them everywhere you go. Excuse me, do you have a quality vodka? Excuse me,
Vodka
sir or
snob.
ma'am. A quality vodka, please. Current distribution, they are in Texas, New Jersey, Southern California, and Canada.
Oh, I do love the Canadians.
Other states, it says request us through your Southern Glazer representative. So I wonder if Southern Wine is affiliated with that.
Don't know.
I don't know either. I'll have to find
Well,
out.
I think we have a chance to ask for them by name.
We'll have to ask for them by name. So that's happening.
Or we get somebody to buy it in Cali and bring us a bottle.
Well, also available, yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody with some quality vodka that they want to send on over
Send
here.
our way. I mean, we can mix it with something or
I'll push
not.
that shit like crack.
Come on.
Well, we should, before we endorse it, we should try it. We're
Well,
just
I
looking
agree.
to try it.
We'll have a
I
sample
am
show.
willing to be a tester.
We would like to sample the Equality Vodka. So if you or anyone you know is affiliated with the Equality Vodka people, let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know. Now, let's get to the really important stuff. That's
Please do.
I just had to make it two things
totally
because
kidding.
it's called Two Things.
Oh, see, that was your bullshit
Right,
thing.
that was my bullshit
All
thing.
right.
Demi Lovato may or may not have a girlfriend. What? My mind is blown.
Did we know she traveled to Lesbania?
No, we did not know she traveled to Lesbania.
I'm going to tell you that has less impact on me than you.
Listen, I looked through all your hunky weather.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. I want you to know. I want you
Listen, bitch.
I feel for you. I feel for you because it's a window of opportunity.
I am both devastated and excited all at the same time.
She can ring your bell. I know. God damn it.
I think she already has.
Oh, good luck. Enjoy your bell.
I wouldn't be sitting here, that's for damn sure.
I would be talking to you people.
I'm talking to you fucking people.
If I had a chance to hit that.
Right. I'd be at California Adventure with Demi Lovato, which is apparently where she was with her
With
alleged- with this whore.
She's already called her a whore. Yes. That's funny. That is fucked up and funny.
Demi Lovato was spotted at Disneyland's California Adventure over the weekend with her friend Lauren Abadini. She's a Los Angeles DJ that goes by the name DJ Kittens.
Oh, no.
If that's not lesbian,
Part of
I don't know what is.
They're part of a band.
in your name.
They're part of a band called Finger Bang.
Yeah. Scissor Sisters. Oh, that's taken.
Finger Bang is on South Park.
My beloved uninformed betrothed
Yeah.
was spotted.
That's a lot to put on a towel.
Talk about a
It's a
monogram.
hell of a monogram, yeah. I couldn't need an extra stencilus for this.
Right. For those of you without a thesaurus, my future ex-wife who doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
Let me U.S. newspaper this
In
down
any
for
event, was spotted in California Adventure holding hands with DJ Kitten and wearing the lesbian dress code of 1996. That's right. She
Doc
had a
Martens?
red. Oh yeah. Doc Martens, black jeans, a red and black flannel tied around her waist, and a white V-neck. Hi, it's 1996 again, and we're all lesbians.
Are we sure it's her?
Demi Lovato.
We'll have to go
Do you have a
Willie
picture?
Green. For the
Shoot me a-
tiebreaker, I need to know what
they
vehicle
drove? Was it a Subaru? Was it a Jeep?
The episode of Will and Grace, they're both in love with a guy.
Oh.
And they have to, and Jack has to decide for them whether he's straight or gay. And they present their case, and he's like, the tiebreaker is magazines in the bathroom. What's he got? And I just...
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, shoot me a picture of this, would you?
Coming at you. Coming at you.
Kitten.
Hold on.
All right.
You know, I don't know how I feel about this. On one hand, I was holding out hope and always kind of knew that I had a chance.
Oh, you know what? I can probably find it faster.
You probably can't hear it.
I mean,
because I got to get to the Facebook.
You got Kat in your name.
Things.
You're halfway there.
Oh my God, you're right. I have a special in.
Yeah, I know.
But what if it ends really badly with DJ Kittens and then she has an aversion to Kat altogether? Am I going to have to change my name? Oh, thank God.
Got the built-in fix.
Catherine's my go-to old age name, too. Did you know that?
Mm.
Yeah. Like when I feel like I have too much gray hair and I'm just a little too old to be like, you know, casual and fun and, hey, Kat. No, I'm going to have to go straight to Catherine.
Well, when I get to the level of bitchy where I change my name to Alfred, you're all in trouble.
Ooh, that
when
does
I
sound
start
terrible.
making people call me that.
I got your picture.
Did you got my
Don't worry
picture?
about it. I got you.
All right, good.
We're
Because
gonna-
I got your horse right here.
His name is Demi Lovato.
Anytime I can fit that expression in, I try to. I
Oh,
got your horse
just
right here.
very excited. Very excited about all of this. And I hope they had a lovely time at Disneyland. As you know, my future ex-wife, Demi Lovato, was a Disney Channel
Oh, that's right.
star.
Oh, she's got a
That's
total
where she comes
e-ticket.
from.
She got an e-ticket
She
to
does
everything.
have an e-ticket to...
Or lesbian ticket.
What did she do for the mouse?
She was...
Sold her soul.
No, she was a star on a Disney Channel show called Sunny with a Chance.
Oh, I
And she was on some other things.
So we got two pictures here for you. So I'm not gonna do the black background because I want to be able to see the reaction. So that's one. There she is, with the walking.
I'm sorry,
with the girl.
she has Converse sneakers on, not Doc Martens.
Okay,
Also
so she's
still
Converse
very
with the
lesbian.
jeans with the thing wrapped around her waist. Now here is the incriminating evidence. This is the pictures of them together holding hands.
Yeah.
With DJ Kitten.
That sports bra just says, I'm a lesbian and I don't care.
It totally does. At least it's not like that weird gray 10 years old and been washed too many times color. Because let me tell you how many girls are still wearing those.
Yeah. So
gross.
I don't know.
Buy a new one.
I don't think Kitten's pretty enough for her.
Well, there have been a couple of other Lovatex, I think is what they call us, who commented that they looked too similar.
Oh, please.
And that they were maybe another picture of the
betrothed.
Okay.
Of the imposter. What?
So the look-alike lovers thing. So
that always bothers me.
Everybody knows it. So
Well, if you dress alike, calm down. That's too much.
I really don't like the dress alike.
Oh, no. We are not Barbies. We're something else. We are not a Puerto Rican dance
You're
troupe.
also not allowed to wear my clothes.
We are not Menudo.
Oh, no.
This is my side. This is your side. I don't care if we're the same size. I don't care if you really just like my shirt.
In shoes.
I love it.
And then all you see is him trying to hold her back. And that's all you see. Yeah, that cracks you up. Oh, we're the same size. In shoes.
The Advocate, or one of those nationally syndicated magazines, did a feature story, and they went through people's Facebook accounts and Instagram accounts and found boyfriends that looked alike. And my friend Shane was in there, like, again, he got no rights. Like, you know what I mean? He got no rights. No, they
lifted it
for
from his public
permission.
Facebook. No, they don't have to. Facebook owns all that information, not you.
I thought it was hysterical when he started, like, my pictures, me and my boyfriend's pictures in here about boyfriends who look alike.
I'm gonna.
Because it's a little
bad
creepy.
sign.
I'm gonna give you another one that's gonna upset you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I just want you to know because
What
here's
happened?
this one.
No, I've seen all the pictures.
Oh, you've seen all of them?
Listen.
I was hoping I'd found something you hadn't seen.
She doesn't have that forearm strength for nothing.
I was going to TMZ my way through this for you.
Consumed my whole day. I know.
Consumed your whole day. You need new batteries now too? What the hell? Jesus Christ.
No. My laptop's rechargeable.
Plug in. Oh, wow. Oh.
No, I'm very excited about it. I'm happy for her.
I'm getting these off of Perez
Atta girl.
Hilton, that little fucker.
Is he still a thing?
Oh, he's got a website still. PerezHilton.com.
We all have websites.
We all do.
I have a
We're
website.
all important
You have
people.
a website. We're very important. Very important. That's all I got. Those are my
and then
two
on
things.
September 10th, there's a story on refinery29.com, whatever the fuck that is. It says Demi Lovato's new breakup song isn't about a guy.
Oh.
Do we know
Wait,
about
so
this?
there was a girl before? No, so I heard the song, and I don't know how I feel about it because all I could imagine is that it was about me, and
Yeah.
it just broke me. I just couldn't. I couldn't.
We haven't even dated yet, and she's got her breakup song ready.
Now it says here. Oh, now this is where I'm going to tie it to me.
Bring
I'm
it
going to
on.
show you how this is going to go. When a celebrity writes a breakup song, it's easy to want to analyze the lyrics and figure out if the new track is about any of their famous exes or not, right?
Right.
However, it says don't expect to find a former boyfriend of hers like Wilmer Valderrama who can show up anytime, day or night. Here, I'll wake up. Or what's his name? Guillermo Vasconcelos, whatever.
That sounds exactly.
Guillermo Vasconcelos, whoever the hell that guy is, because
I don't think he knows.
Lovato has confirmed that You Don't Do It For Me Anymore is about the old Demi, not about a guy or a girl. Aha! It's lesbian bait.
I don't buy it.
Oh, you think it's about
No.
a real lesbian bait?
No, well, I don't know if it's about a girl or a guy, but I don't believe that that's about.
That
that's
clickbait nonsense.
That's a song to the old me. That's some bullshit because that is some angry lesbianness in that song. That's all I'm gonna say.
And we've all been on the wrong side of some lesbian angriness.
Well, I remember the Jagged Little
I have to
Pill
buy
album.
new furniture every time I'm on the wrong side of lesbian angriness. Damn it.
Tori Amos. I mean, we got that one too.
Oh. God damn it, Tori Amos.
And I swear to God, either what's that thing? The starts with a P, and you play all the music off of it.
Pandora.
I can't remember real names. All roads in Pandora just lead to Tori Amos. You put on the Annie Lennox channel,
You get a
you're on
Tori
Tori
And
Amos.
all of a sudden you're listening to Winter over and over, again and just sobbing for no reason.
And I'm like, like it lead to the puppy torture, Sarah McLachlan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Tori Amos. It just
No, but it's just
what a
funny.
sad time in my life.
I
it
would
was.
have put in the Tori Amos channel if I wanted to listen to that much fucking Tori Amos. It was like 2 songs from Annie
exactly.
Lennox and then 7 albums by Tori Amos.
If they were interested, I would officially endorse the Spotify for your music streaming needs.
Oh, I can't stream because that shit annoys me. Because I want to be in charge of what I hear next. I don't want people picking for me. So I don't listen to the radio.
Which is why I need to introduce you to the Spotify, because for the mere like $16 a month, I can choose whatever I want, listen to it right now. I can create
but
playlists.
Apple
I
Music
can
has the
listen to
same thing.
shuffle.
Mhm.
Yeah, Apple
Yeah.
Music has the same.
Has the same thing.
But I don't have any Apple products, so.
Yeah,
You
and I
haven't drank the Kool-Aid yet.
And I seriously, and I go down the drain with Hamilton, and I'm done for a year and 3 months. It'd be 15 months of me not listening to anything else. So
Yeah.
like I think I bought like 4 other songs.
Good work. Good work.
Like just about everything I've bought this year is still sitting there, listened to once.
Yeah. I know. I've been off music for a while too. I need to get back to.
Oh no, because just when I was
New
ready
music.
to listen to something else, Dear Evan Hansen came in the mail, and that's all I did.
Dear Evan Hansen, what to say to you?
So, is that the end of your
an
joke?
inside, that's an inside baseball
I know.
joke.
That's my 2 things.
Going back to your the Emmy and the Lady Gaga costume, I don't know if this is one of them, but that's one of the things she first showed up in the series. And
Yeah, and
What did Rue wear during like judgy time when they were? Do you have
I don't know how it.
I don't know what they call it when RuPaul like sashayed this way. And
I'll have to
whatever
see
the
if I
fuck
can-
she
Shantae
does.
that way. I've never watched the whole show.
I've seen like 3 seasons at the bar and don't remember a single.
But
picture.
I'm so excited that he has 2 Emmys
Has
now.
Emmys, absolutely.
And I guess
what a cool thing.
For whatever the moment is that they really dressed her for, it was like the third. He had 3 outfits ready for her, and turns out she liked his third favorite was the one that she wanted immediately, and he was like, "Oh God, I brought her 3."
Right.
And so whatever the costume is, that's what won.
Oh, the story doesn't.
So, and it's a little bit cheating, but it's for reality TV competition show. So like it wasn't competing with Feud, which had like hundreds of costumes and stuff like
Right.
that. It's just competing with like one episode of So You Think You Can Dance, where like one costume, you know what I mean? Where like they would.
Okay.
So it's winning in the appropriate place.
I keep winding up on the show on repeat on my boombox.
My boombox. So I
2 things.
don't know if because that wasn't the complete list. Clearly, I looked up something else on the page that had the full Shmemmy list.
Right.
Because I didn't have the RuPaul thing there, and the other one had the picture to go with, so you knew what episode they were talking about, like which episode of Feud won, because there was some. One of the Emmys that won was the cinematography for Feud for the episode where they were mimicking the Oscars. And the envelope goes to, I think was the name of that episode. They won the cinematography one for like how that went. And
because that endless shot where they walked around.
Right,
I love that.
Yeah, and so there's.
That's the only other thing I can find in reference to that. I don't know what the hell Rue actually wore in that, but it's an interesting outfit.
Yeah, because it even listed it out that the one guy won for RuPaul's costume and the other guy won for Lady. Like they even said who designed what. Like,
I got
and it was a funny thing with I have a fucking Emmy, and it must. I don't know if it was on Twitter or something, but it was just fun to watch because that's the reaction that I would have in an award show. Like, you know what I mean? I would be dignified for like 22 seconds, and then it would just turn into what the fuck were you people thinking?
You would thank Jesus and your mom in the academy, and then you'd be like, "Are you fucking kidding me? This is happening in my life? Is this a mistake? Let me see the envelope." That's how that would go in my life. All right, do we have one more segment?
You said you had a question, right? Well, then we'll see how this goes. We'll see.
And now, thoughtful vulgarity, where we in the studio try to make ourselves slightly less shallow, which is not hard to do. We will ask one question of the panel while fucked up drunk, because you know at home how well it goes when important questions come up several hours after alcohol has been served. Politics, religion, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Who could you offend? Good luck.
I just want to interrupt you and tell you that these gummies are so good. I'm even eating the green ones.
I know, I did
green
too.
Gummies.
And I even put that peach thing in my mouth, and I'm like, yeah, gummy form peach is okay.
I
don't know. I don't know what flavor they were going for, but it didn't taste like peach. Maybe it was supposed to be flesh. Turns out flesh is fine. Peach is gross. It's like,
was she a great big fat person?
the old racist Crayola crayons. So there is a big part of the book of It, which it didn't come to me to the end that there was like the beep beep was missing from the movie, and the other thing was it's called The Deadlights, and it's one of my favorite things that Stephen King ever got to, and it's like when you truly see behind someone's eyes, like the people they look through the clown to see what they're really afraid of, or you look through someone's eyes and see like the dead stare of like the person that's smiling and engaging in you, but you really see the dead eye behind, like when you finally look in someone's eyes, or like when you have a fight with somebody and all of a sudden it's not like, and you're not talking about their linen, like that, you realize that the person you're fighting with is actually like mad.
Another person, basically somebody you've never seen.
Like when like when there's someone that you know that you have fights with all the time about the laundry, the this or the that, and then you just get that look in their eyes of like, oh shit.
Oh, I've gone too far.
Yeah,
right.
Like the fight's taken, like I'm not in the same fight you're in. You know what I mean? And that's that Deadlights thing of like seeing behind someone's eyes and like what's really there. So I know there wasn't a drinking word. I thought of it later.
Well, make up your own and enjoy the rest of the show.
Me screaming.
Amina, knock yourself out.
So, like, when was the time that you, like, in a relationship with someone, in a friendship with someone, where you just, like, or Billy Joel talks about the stranger, when you see the stranger in your lover, when you're like, oh, okay, now I know what you're about. Like, when was the time that you were in a relationship where, like, the mask fell off and you're like, oh, I gotta get out of this shit? Or a fight or something that you know, like when you really saw, like, someone's truth behind them.
I got this one. I got this.
Well, you know,
in any order.
As a white woman in America, I'm really good at blocking out the unpleasant things.
Yeah.
I mean, there are decades of my life that I just don't remember, and I'm only 26, so I know.
And in denial.
Keep selling that.
Yeah.
Try.
Gosh, I don't know. So you're looking for like that instance where you looked at that person and you were like, oh, nope, not you anymore.
Yeah. Or they saw it in your eyes, like when we were like, yeah, I'm out of here, and they finally realized like, oh, we're done fighting, like that just ended.
All right.
Or it could be any relationship.
Mine was, and I'll do it because you seem for some reason seem to be stumped on this.
I'm usually really good at answering first.
It was around this time, because we just had the 20th anniversary of the death of Princess Diana.
Mm-hmm.
I remember exactly where I lived. I lived on Turney Street, in a little white house that I drive by often because it's still there. I had moved in to that house with Gio, who I was with for 3 years.
Mhm.
And it was one of those things where, you know how people buy, we have a friend who's done it. You buy a puppy because that's what's going to fix the relationship.
Oh.
Well, for us, it was like, well, we'll move into the house together. That'll fix it all. Well, it didn't. But what I realized, because I got to spend enough time with him and his family, I realized, oh, I see what you're doing. You're trying to make me your father from the standpoint of all that happens in your family. Your mother controls your fucking dad. Like, that's all.
Yeah.
Controls he wakes up because she says, goes to sleep when he says, eats when he says. Everything in the world is because that's all he ever saw was a relationship of his mother controlling his father. So in his head, apparently, every relationship has to work this way. I get to control you.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh no, this isn't going to work out like this because you basically just want me to be your dad. And
you saw the puppet strings being
yeah,
attached.
I'm like, we're done with this. And
Okay.
that's when I made my exit stage left.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just a continual wants to control and be that. And he later admitted that. He's like, I see it now. I get it now. And I don't know if he's moved on from that or if the relationship he's in now with the guy. I have no idea. But that was one of my things. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to get to the same place that you think we're going to get to. Because if I want to go do something, I'm still going to go do it. If I want to buy a lawnmower or a wrench or whatever the fuck, I'm just going to go do it. And he didn't really care for that. So there's my...
Oh, yeah, and that's exactly it. When all of a sudden the lovey-dovey, like, oh, there's a whole nother machine working behind this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel prepared to answer.
Good
Good
example.
Oh, thanks. I got one after 5 years.
I feel prepared to answer now.
Okay, good. I'm glad I helped you.
Will you repeat the question, please?
If Demi Lovato were to show up... Okay.
Because that's
nothing can go wrong.
That's
there.
what like drives them insane in it, is that they call it the deadlights, and it's when they finally look into the creature's eyes and see what's really lurking behind the scary clown, is that there's like a well of just anger and hatred and all that stuff. And it doesn't have to be that
dramatic, but
yeah.
What I have seen like over and over again in my life, and not necessarily just in like romantic relationships, but in friendships too, I've noticed that I run away from people when I finally like kind of come out of whatever wonderful time I'm having with a person and see how they're treating other people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I recently
and that's a good way. Yeah, see him through someone else's eyes.
I recently like pushed way back from an entire group of people because it was very fun and I was like in the center, and all of a sudden I started going
Log cabin Republicans.
Yeah.
Similar. But all of a sudden I would like find myself just kind of, at random thinking, gosh, I sure hope I'm the Lindsay Lohan in this Mean Girls story. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, this is like the plot of Mean Girls, and my God, I hope I'm Lindsay Lohan because like I'm associated with this and I'm in all of this, and I started just like individually watching how people around me were treating other people.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, and you're gone, and you're gone. And I've done that more than once. You know what I mean? In different periods of my life when I've kind of looked outside of myself and whatever wonderful time I'm having and realized how that was affecting people like on the outside.
Right.
And that's not cute.
Yeah, that's another good way to...
When you said that, well, the first thing I thought of was the analysis of, if you really want to know what kind of a person someone is, go to dinner with them and watch them treat their wait staff.
Yeah. Oh.
Sure.
Because as soon as you realize, okay, you're going to just be an asshole for no reason, then you're clearly just an asshole person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and wait staff is a good indicator. Just even people that are like not in the inner circle, like how do you treat people that are outside of this small group? Do you treat them like they would also be welcome should they want to come along, or do you treat them like they are less than? And you know what I mean? Like, are you? Yeah.
Whenever students come into our environment at work, I always will go up and be like, okay, here's where you are. This is day shift. This is night shift. There's the bathroom. There's the break room.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's going to take care of you today. Here's my name. It doesn't matter. But if it goes wrong, let me fucking know. Because you know what I mean? But you just see these people come on and they're people like, oh, student. And they say it in front of them. And I'm like, okay, this person is scared to death to come and work here.
And you
for
were a student
Nurses
once.
eat their young.
And they, yes, and I was, and I remembered like seriously some days not eating because I didn't want to throw up on somebody. I was like a dry heave, but I'm not gonna throw up a full like Fruity Pebbles breakfast on somebody, although that would make it more fun, colorful.
Colorful, yes. Now I want Fruity Pebbles. Damn it.
And I have to say, I've gone back and forth on this, but the thing that came to me specifically from reading the book was, my father sits at night with no lights on from Carly Simon, but he would sit in the living room and smoke a cigarette, just like in the Carly Simon song.
Mm-hmm.
And he would sit there sometimes in the dark and just be thinking and have a quiet moment, and you would go in and talk to him, like he had turned the TV off and he would just be sitting there. And the last night that I lived in my parents' house, he was sitting there and I sat down with him and I was a little buzzed and had, gone out for a little too long with the wrong people instead of spending time at home with my family that I was leaving. And my dad was just sitting there smoking in the dark, and just the light of the cigarette was like, we love you, but you have to leave. Like this, you have got to get out of this house. You're driving your mother crazy. And it was one of those true moments of like, in all seriousness, this fight has gone on long enough.
Oh.
We're done. Just move. We'll support you, but it can't be here. Like we can't watch you and Ruthie go at it any more rounds. Everyone's done. And it was one of those moments of like, that's a nice minute. Like that's what we needed to hear. Like I feel the same way, but it needed to come from the adult in the room. But that mask was down of like no joking, no fighting, just seriously, here's the answer. Take what you need out of it, but move tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not that I was kicked out, I was moving, but it was like, yep. And it was one of those moments of total like in his element, just sitting down and like listen and hear this. So that's why like there were a couple times I was thinking about moving home, but I'm like, nope. Turns out me and Ruthie in the same house is just World War III. So let's like each other from a continent.
And the second you moved, did the dynamic of all that change immediately?
Instantly. We got along a second later. You know what I mean? I was a horrible teenager. Like not one person will come to my defense on that one. I was a horrible human being for like 15 to 18, 19. Like just I thought I invented the entire world. Pretty, cars, drugs, drinking, gay bars, popper. I thought I invented all of it.
Right.
I was the
like
architect
a
of the
lot of
entire
teenagers.
fucking world. Yeah.
They know everything.
But and there was
I'm gonna need to drink a whole lot more in the next 10 years.
Yeah, and I had a boyfriend that I had a fight with. That we would fight about really stupid stuff. Like we were together a
like
brief
what
period
headband
of
to
time.
wear.
Yeah, like that kind of silly shit. But we were very confrontational. We were one of those couples that would argue about, kind of like me and Danny. Maybe it's just me because I just came up with two people
That's
right
the
away.
second. That's the second.
Yeah.
Well, you're the common denominator. No, but I agree because that was the same way he and I were.
Yeah, but I had this one guy I can't remember what his name was, but he was so cute. But we were always kind of arguing about something. Something just didn't. The gears just could never get in the right spot. And then one night we had a fight that I could just see it in his eyes of like, don't come back to this relationship. Like the next step of this is physical.
Yeah.
And it lowered the shield, and it wasn't anymore about like the electric bill or who was paying this or who was gonna make the car payment that month. I guess we were together long, but I thought if a car payment came into it. But it really was like the veil came off, and I was like, that's over. Yeah. And I remember just like walking downstairs and being like, maybe his name was Jonathan, I don't know, but completely turned the switch off from that relationship. Somebody that I was every single day like making efforts to see and like living together and all this stuff, and then like click, just done. Just saw that light behind his eyes, and I'm like, oh, that's the next step is not good. It's weird, but when you get that glimpse of people.
Yeah. That's true, and it kind of changes your perception of them forever.
Oh yeah, and that's the deadlights.
Forever.
Once you see it, you're changed. Like you can't go. They can maybe try to apologize, but like, nope, I saw that mask fall, and I know what's lurking. I'm out. And it is funny to see it with a waiter.
Oh yeah, to watch how they treat somebody else.
How they treat other people.
Yeah, I totes agree with all that. Well, all right. I don't know what question Annette's trying to avoid answering. I have no idea. I haven't been able to keep up with the chat room or paid much attention to it. But
I think this one. But Amina had an axe thrown at her by her girlfriend, and I like that she took the axe and left. But again, in another interesting,
I'm gonna need this later.
That's gonna have to be over. Yeah.
That's gonna have to be. You know what? Me and the ex
This
are
is it.
leaving.
Yeah.
I don't care who owned it at first, but it's coming home with me now. You don't seem to have it.
I may need it for defense later.
Yeah. And another thing for if Marnie's not here, we'll give you a week to think about it. But when you recognize, like you did, you have to come up with another story since you answered that one. When you realize you're involved in your partner in their parents' relationship, like have you been with like you said, have you ever been in that relationship where like, oh fuck, we're living out your parents' life? Like you meet the parents, or you're like, oh, gotta get out of here.
Yeah, no, I can't use my story, but I don't have another one to compare.
No, but have you ever seen that?
I don't think so, unless I'm doing it right now, because I sometimes... Because I sometimes look around and go, well, shit, I'm my father.
Yeah.
That just happened.
That commercial where you're turning into your dad and you start
Yeah.
wearing the same clothes and the hat and you walk the same. And yes, that's that's funny shit.
So maybe someone should ask Sharon that question.
Would you like to phone a friend?
Nope.
No, sure don't.
And she shall remain anonymous.
I had never known about it in a relationship that I was in, that I was like, oh, crazy town. But I saw Tim go through a relationship with a guy and realized that the boyfriend, sweet guy, spent 9/11 with him. I watched TV with him all day. I can't remember why.
It was
but
there?
his parents fought constantly. They were still together. They'd been together for 20-some years, but they fought continuously. His whole family just fought continuously.
That was a way of life for them.
And he just picked fights.
Sure.
And you'd be sitting there in a room and being like, what are we fighting about? Like, how did that just happen? Like, I'd be in the room for like the hurricane coming across the Atlantic and making landfall and being like, what?
Why did that happen? Right.
Yeah, like that escalated quickly. And then found out that's what his family was like. And I was okay. And so when I hear about it from other people, I'm like, meet the parents too. I always say meet the friends, get the whole resume, but then meet the progenitors of the movement.
And to a certain extent, I think a lot of people do eventually kind of emulate one or the other of their parents, because for a lot of people, that's the primary
influence.
example and primary influence of what a long-term relationship looks like, or even a short-term one. If your parents, hop from marriage to marriage, like that's your very primary example of what that looks like. So you have to, if you want to be different than that, you have to, number one, recognize that this is your model,
right,
and then actively act against your model.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people, by nature or nurture, kind of go one way or the other.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true.
It depends on the day, but sometimes I look around and go, "Oh, my fucking dad." And sometimes I open my mouth and I go, "That was my mother."
Right. Oh,
my mother just
there
literally
are so
fell
many
out of my
times
mouth.
I feel like I'm in Poltergeist or Beetlejuice, where I'm like, oh, okay, that was just Ruthie. You know what I mean? Spit out your fucking gum. And as it comes out of my mouth, I'm like,
and
oh
you
my
can't
God.
stop it.
Nope, I can't.
You can't stop it. It's already there. It's already happened.
Cat, why'd you do that? To make little boys ask questions.
And that's what this show's all about, to make little boys ask questions on a Tuesday night. Oh,
when you tell a grown man, I will answer that question when you spit out that gum, and then be like, wow, I'm sorry. Didn't know we were at a seance.
Oh, for crying out loud. Well, thanks again to everybody in the chat room. Jody, Amina, Annette, my mom, Jenny is in there, Aaron from LA. All the normal suspects are in there.
Aaron, send us a quality vodka.
Yeah, we'll find it. Somehow we'll get a hold of it, I'm pretty sure we'll. Chances are Marnie will not be with us again next week, but who knows? We'll find out for sure. You'd be surprised as much as we will, won't you?
And thank you all for playing along with the question. I think that was our best.
Of course.
It was very fun.
Yeah.
As we wrap up tonight's show, let's leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday!